Come to Sam Ash for hundreds of exclusive holiday deals on music and sound gear from the most iconic brands. Save big on professional and starter guitars, drums, digital pianos, horns, violins, DJ, and electronic production equipment. Supercharge your home studio with deals on podcasting, streaming, and AV equipment like speakers, microphones, headphones, and acoustic treatment. Plus, with 36 months no-interest financing on thousands of items, you can get the gear of your dreams right now. From our incredible selection and service to our lowest price guarantee for over 95 years, real musicians know you only go to Sam Ash.
At Life's a Beach Realty, we're all about life on the beach. Stunning Panama City Beach and one of the most beautiful properties on the Gulf Coast, Shores of Panama. Radiant, elegant, and spectacular. Steps away from white sugar sand, every room overlooks the turquoise of the Gulf of Mexico. Come in for your tour today. Life's a Beach Realty is your gateway to Shores of Panama, the shores, and a whole lot more.
Tom Brady, welcome to Tampa. Go Bucs!
Realizing my potential has been what my career has been all about. Things that I've dreamed about have actually come true.
And the Patriots have won Super Bowl 36. Unbelievable.
Things have happened in my life as I kind of hoped they would happen. It's been, just a complete evolution. You know, how I just kept kind of fighting and clawing to continue to power forward. You just keep putting one foot in front of the other, and you keep trying to make progress. So when I look at over 20 years, I look how far I've come. But there's not one step that I took where I realized, look how far I've come. But those series of steps that I put together, I go, wow, that's quite a journey.
You're now in the Sports Web, a sports talk show for the hardcore fan. Bring your passion, bring your excitement, just don't bring any nonsense. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another edition of the evolution of Sports Talk Television live here nightly on Bucs Report. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. And as we always start off here on the Sports Web, bring your passion, bring your excitement, just don't bring any nonsense. On tonight's show, we'll have the legend himself, Mr. Leo Haggerty, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions, It's Sports Mag, along with Ozzie, the Sports Junkie, reunited, and it feels so good. After that, at 10 o'clock, we will have a special interview with Keon Crossan. You ask who that is. He's a former New England Patriot and also now a Houston Texan. He has some things to say about Tom Brady. Joshua Cole Allen will join us for that interview. And then we'll have Alex Fleming and whatever he wants to talk about. Of course, always around the NFL with Fantasy and Flavor Zone. And then, of course, your phone call, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. It's the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Join the 65,000 following we have here on Facebook. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get him on. We have, first and foremost, Mr. Leo Haggerty. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, Peter. How about yourself?
I am doing great. Just making sure our sound is all good at this point. Seems like it is. We got Ozzie, the sports junkie, who's running just a little bit behind. Hopefully he can get in. So we'll just start it out here. There was a big story coming out, not maybe really a big story, but on the Chris Long podcast with Bruce Arians, basically what Bruce Arians was saying is that he may be keeping one quarterback away from the facility during the season. He says one of the things that I've been pondering is the last 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, as we set protocols. From what I understand is if you test positive, you get quarantined for 2 weeks. Now, if you have no symptoms, I don't know what that means. Is it a false one? There's so much to learn and still explore with this thing that I've thought about keeping the third quarterback on the roster out of the team. We have 2 guys that have been in our system that are going to be really sharp. So I might have to quarantine a quarterback just in case of positive test. So what do you think of that at this point?
Hey, Peter, I wouldn't be surprised to see games played with players in masks and practicing in masks just to protect against this. I tell you, I don't know how this is going to work out. Again, if Tom Brady tests positive, do the Bucs say he tests positive if he's asymptomatic?
Mm-hmm.
Or do they, third team defensive tackle and it's the starting quarterback? I don't know where you go with this, but if you got to quarantine the whole team for 2 weeks, and how about the team they just played? This is no man's land. I like the guy up at Leon County, the superintendent. He said, when this started, I reached for my pandemic, chapter in my superintendent's handbook. There isn't one.
Right.
Nobody knows what they're doing. And again, I had a conversation with my daughter in the health field. She goes, Dad, the problem is nobody knows what's going to happen. I said, it's going to be 3 years before you even get a vaccine. So again, I think they're going to open up the stadiums and just say, come at your own risk.
All right, I tell you what, let's go ahead and reunite you guys here. You told me about this gentleman. We had him on before on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's Ozzie, the sports junkie. Welcome to the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend. How you doing?
What's going on, Pete? Leo, Father Leo. How are you, my man?
The osmosis of Sarasota. How are you?
I call him Leo Stradamus. He calls more locks than a bagel shop.
He was telling me, Leo, that you were calling Tom Brady, and he did a perfect impression. Can you go ahead and do that impression again, Ozzie?
I tell you, it was week 11. Now, Leo and I talk all year long on a myriad of topics. We go from, politics, maybe some women's health, women's rights groups, activists. Leo's a man of the people,
Right? Yeah,
he does everything. He's a what is he? The leader of his union. I think he's the pastor at his church. I mean, this guy should be president of the. I think he might be running for president. I'd vote for him over any of these other clowns. At any rate, about week 11, Leo calls my show, and he goes, "Now this is, mind you, after a 3-way tirade with our common friend Leo, Doug Fernandez." Former chowderhead. Well, he's once a chowderhead, always a chowderhead. But he said, nobody's coming to the Bucs. They don't get anybody. They re-sign Winston. They have no choice. I said, well, they have a choice to get somebody better. Leo said, there's going to be a guy, Oz. There's going to be a guy up there in New England. He's going to be a free agent. And I said, well, wouldn't that be, it would be spectacular. By the way, I don't know if you can see my hat. I just happen to I just hate gravy trainers who just jump on a team. No, he called it. He didn't call it. He pretty much proposed it, and I thought, well, it'd be a great thing to happen, but I didn't think it the realms of possibility. And how ironic is it, fellas, that the pundits of it say, well, no one else wanted him. Well, he didn't want to go to any other team. No, there wasn't another team that fit. Like Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's made to win now. Brady wants to win now. And he wasn't going to go to Vrabel in Tennessee. He wasn't going to go out to San Diego and try to rebuild that. It's a 1-year thing for him, 2 years tops. Who knows? Maybe if 2 years turns into 3 years, that would be a great thing. But it's the irony of the whole thing is we finally get the greatest team on paper heading into the Bucs season. Let's face it, the most anticipated season in Tampa Bay sports history, bar none. Maybe Florida sports history.
Yeah.
Doug had a great article, so I like to crack on him. But he did point out, gentlemen, this is the biggest athlete who's ever put on a uniform in the state of Florida. He's bigger than Marino. He's bigger than Shaq. He's bigger than any baseball player we've ever had in the state of Florida. So, I mean, we wanted the spotlight. Well, buddy, we got it. And every game is going to be prime time. I don't care if it's a 1 or a 4 or an 8, and there's a bunch of 8 o'clock and a bunch of later afternoon 4 o'clock games, Thursday night ball games. So I say buckle up. Any old way they can get it done. I was at the casino last night in Tampa. Well, you think there was no pandemic at all. They were just rocking and rolling. I put a hurt on them, Leo. They made Custer proud.
Yeah, I heard you won big. That's good. And we're on with Leo Haggerty, the legend himself, former Coach Scout, and now media member of Night Sports Productions, It's Sports Mag. We got also Ozzie, the sports junkie, here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. Let's go to Mike Giardi of the NFL Network. He was calling Tom Brady the Pied Piper, and that teammates and coaching staff is really impressed with Brady and what he's doing with the Zoom meetings. Let me ask you guys something. Is it too much of big expectations for this team and Brady? Because all you hear about is the hype with Brady, all you hear about. And then there's a story today from Warren Moon who basically says Brady has lost his arm strength. What's your take?
Oh, dear God, he's 43. Lost his arms. I mean, but if I'm not mistaken, gentlemen, we saw Peyton Manning, who couldn't break a pane of glass, win a Super Bowl. So, Brady's going to be able to do it because the modus operandi, there's my SAT word of the day. And Peter, I am doing an SAT on Saturday for you.
Oh, very nice.
His modus operandi is to get his hands in a hurry. And he's the best at it. And the reason why he can do that is he gets snap reads. Watch what the Patriots did. Go back and watch a little film. And they would go empty, which means they had no backs in the backfield. And then they would bring the back into the backfield. Well, guess what? If that defensive back or who's ever covering him runs with him back into the formation, it's man-to-man. If he just waves to the next guy, it's zone. So Brady knows right away, before they've even snapped the football, what we should expect. And he is a master. He is a maestro of that.
I mean, too big of expectations here, Ozzie, for Brady?
The expectations are going to be sky high, and he's got to look at this, gentlemen. He's got a chip on his shoulder, and that's a Brady I like with a chip on his shoulder. He's got something to prove. People are saying you can't do it without Belichick. People are saying he's too old. Let's face it. If this was any other 43-year-old quarterback on the face of the earth, he wouldn't have even made it to Tampa Bay. He'd have been retired by now. You look at Brady. He barely even looks 35, let alone 43. He's in unreal shape. And like I've said it before, and it bears repeating, this guy's got to feel like the weight of the world is lifted off his shoulders. He's away from the heavy hand of Belichick. He's away from all there's a lot of weight under that crown of New England Patriot football. Now it's his show in Tampa Bay. There's no one in that building, Leo and Peter, who have his experience. There's no one in that building who have 6 rings combined, maybe. So yeah. When he talks, everybody's got to listen.
Yeah, and
Arians, including the Glazers.
Exactly. Let me go back to this. Yeah. Let me go back to this article here, guys. Basically, Giardi from the NFL Network says he's the clear-cut face of the franchise. In Buccaneer history, do you think that this franchise has had a clear-cut face? I don't remember one. Maybe Derek Brooks, but really, was he the clear-cut face? You had Warren Sapp, you had other guys, but a clear-cut face of the franchise. Has this organization ever seen that?
I got to go with Vernon Turner.
Yeah, Peter, it's
Vernon
before you
Turner,
were born.
punt returner in 1989.
Ozzie, you're being funny. Go ahead, Leo.
It was before you were born. Leroy Selman was the face of this, guys. He
Sure.
came in, and he was the first pick ever. And for 9-10 years, I think it was 9 years, he was the face of the franchise. Now, Doug Williams kind of shared it, but Leroy Selman was the same way as Brady. He brought this place from 26 straight losses to 2 years later, they're in the playoffs playing the Rams in the NFC Championship game at the old Sombrero.
Not only that, the guys, Leroy was the face of Tampa Bay. He brought USF football. He pioneered all kinds. He was a very busy guy after he got out of football. He was the face of Tampa Bay sports, period, for 20 years, and then just a tragic death at a very early age. And he left us way too soon. But, yeah, I got to agree with Leo on that one. Maybe Derek Brooks took the candle after that. Who's the greatest offensive player in Buccaneer history? That's a good question. That's the one you could pose out there. And, I mean, who would you throw it at? Warwick Dunn, maybe? I mean, you could say Mike Evans has put up some gaudy numbers.
Absolutely. 6 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. I tell you what, let's open up the phone line. There is multiple phone lines here. This is my home number. You can use it. Just don't abuse it. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with the legend himself, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions. It's Sports Mag, Mr. Leo Haggerty, along with Ozzie, the Sports Junkie. And what's the network? Is it Ozzie, the Sports Junkie Network?
It's sportsjunkieradio.com.
Very
it's
nice.
available at a library computer near you.
Yes, of course. And as I always want to go to a library and listen to Ozzie, the Sports Junkie, because everything else there puts me to sleep, but Ozzie does not.
I don't think. Do they even still have newspapers at the library? If they do, they should shoo the people out of there.
All right.
I think Doug Fernandez is placing them there like bricks for a riot.
Yeah, I'm saying.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, I see newspapers at the butcher shop.
Let's
That's
wrapping the
what I do
mackerel.
with Fernandez's rap.
All right, guys, let's go out to the phone lines. Rick from Atlanta, welcome to the Evolution.
Hey, I think the offensive player, it's got to be All-Star, I would think. I mean, just because year after year after year, it's consistent, and I mean, yeah, that's all I can think of. I mean, you could almost give it to Jameis, which is the funny part, just because of the gaudy numbers. If it wasn't for the interceptions, and that's just the gaudiness of the numbers. But he just, how do you call that face of a franchise when there were all the extra crap that came along with it? So I don't think he can do that. And Warren Moon saying Brady's lost his arm. That's Warren Moon's ego talking. I mean, quarterbacks don't take the beating that they used to. Nutrition and all the advancements make it to where, you're not in the same position as you were back when Warren Moon was playing. So it's just a whole different thing. That's Warren Moon letting his ego talk.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're onto something. The game isn't as physical as it used to be. They protect quarterbacks. Brady has definitely benefited from that. And guys, and you can comment, Rick, on this. You can talk to the guys. Say hello to Leo Haggerty and, of course, Ozzie, the Sports Junkie, because now the guests can hear the callers, which is amazing. It's amazing how technology works.
Love it, man.
Yeah. So for me, I think the game protects a player like a Brady. And then on top of it, do you guys see any decline in Brady at all? I mean, I see the numbers go down, but I think that's probably because of not having the weapons that he's going to have here in Tampa. Just my thought.
Yeah, you saw him.
No, he's deteriorating.
Yeah. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
He's deteriorating. He's not the guy he was 5 years ago. He's not the guy he was 10 years ago. But he's making up that with a cerebral, SAT word, approach to the game. He is just the smartest guy on the field, whether you like it or not. And he knows his limitations. What did Clint Eastwood say, Oz? Know your limitations in Dirty Harry?
I thought
we're going to call him Dirty
Dick.
Tom because he knows his limitations.
Well, I think there's limitations, but I don't think he's had a lot of decline. I do think there's some decline, but I don't think it's like we're used to seeing. And I mean, is he cerebral? He's always been cerebral. This is not a guy who's, He's not a Brett Favre. He's not just slinging it around. He's always been cerebral in his approach to the game. So, yeah, that's why I don't think it affects him nearly as much as you're gonna see from other quarterbacks. Do I think it's affected him some? Sure.
Well,
Go ahead.
The one thing that scares me, Oz, and you can chime in on this, when quarterbacks go south for age, they go south in a hurry, like within the space of a month. They just all of a sudden they forget how to play football because their body won't do what the mind wants them to do.
We saw that. We saw that with Josh Freeman. Josh Freeman had a 26 touchdown, 6 interception, 10-6 year. The best year since the Bucs won the Super Bowl. And the next year he was just MIA on opening day, and he wound up getting pulled out of strip clubs, and he was out of football a year later. I don't know what the hell went wrong with him. Who knows? But like you say, quarterbacks, field goal kickers, and that's a thing we got to touch on before the night is out. We can't go through all this, bringing in Brady, bringing in Gronk, bolstering that offensive line, and say that's a nip and tuck game in New Orleans on opening day, and Gay shanks one, and here we go again. We lose 23-22. Oh my God! They better bring somebody in. I like Matt Gay. He started off a little rough. He nailed it during the regular. He brought it together during the regular season, but he had a very rough finish to the season. I think they need to really push him and make him prove that he's going to make these big kicks, because that would be a tragedy to have all this and still wind up shanking a last-second field goal. My God, the stadium. Well, there'll only be 20,000 people there, but maybe they could do some damage.
Gostkowski's out there to finish the trip.
You know what? I think you're onto something there. And Peter, I'm going to go back to Arian's statement about quarantining the quarterback. You better quarantine your punter and your kicker. I'm hoping because of this, they are going to expand the roster. Because could you imagine Matt Gay testing positive on a Thursday? Where are you going to find a kicker? So it's going to be – I'm hoping teams get to expand their roster, because you're going to have to carry 2 kickers and 2 punters. It's going to be tough.
Rick, anything else?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I go back to day one with this team. And Leo, you're absolutely right. There's no doubt that Leroy was the face of the franchise. He was what that whole thing was all about. The only thing that, as far as a player goes, I mean, to be honest with you, at that point, the face of the franchise equally was John McKay.
Okay. But the point is, you really have never, I mean, besides maybe Leroy Selman, and how long ago was that? So we're kind of going into, and some people think it was Jameis Winston and Mike Evans, but I don't think there's a clear-cut franchise face.
No.
And now from this report from NFL Network, it seems like you're kind of getting the idea that Brady is kind of taking over, which is what a lot of people would think he would do. But it's encouraging. I just kind of feel like our fans getting over optimistic about it, because there's so many good reports and so much positivity in Tampa Bay. Rick, thanks a lot for the call. Keep on calling the sports.
Let me say this. Is there too many good reports? No. You know what? It's not like we're not due. Let us enjoy it for a little bit. The last thing I'm going to do is say, oh no, now there's too much good.
Right. Exactly. Good stuff, Rick from Atlanta. Thanks a lot for calling the evolution of Sports Talk Television. All right.
Yep.
All right. Good stuff. Open phone line.
He brings up a great point.
Mm-hmm.
He brings up a great point, Peter. I'm tired. Let's put the Winston debate to bed. If he goes to New Orleans and tears it up, and for whatever reason Drew Brees goes down and gets injured, God bless him. But let's enjoy having the greatest quarterback ever, and put that quarterback debate to bed, and maybe just kind of, I'm not saying all hold hands and sing Kumbaya, but I'm sick of the buck-on-buck fan crime that we've seen for the last 5 years. And it's just, you guys, Peter, I know, and Leo, we've talked about it ad nauseum.
Yeah.
Ad nauseum. And turn the page. I don't remember refresh my memory of any quarterback in this league who's been given 5 years. I can't remember anybody or any player in any sport given 5 years. God bless him. But it was time for a change, and what a change. I mean, to go from, and he had a lot of talent, but he did have that turnover. That's a gigantic problem in the NFL. You can't win when you spot the team 17 points every week. I don't care if you throw 40, 50,000 yards a season. I'm just glad that chapter of Buccaneer. I tell you what, if I ever sat down and played poker with Bruce Arians, I might actually stand a shot because I was reading his poker face by about week 8. He was laying enough rope for Winston to hang himself. He was just saying, hey, that's Jameis being Jameis. He throws a lot of picks, man. That's what you get, you know?
Yep.
It is what it is, Daddy.
We're going to get back to Jameis Winston because he had some interesting comments to Bleacher Report.
Oh, God, please.
Lines. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's me, Gabe, and I'm laughing so much right now.
What's going on, Gabe? Welcome to the evolution.
I just want to touch up on who I think the faces of franchise is since we're bringing that up now.
Okay.
To me, it has to be either Derek Brooks, Brad Johnson, or Mike Allstott.
I mean, do we agree? Brad Johnson, was Brad Johnson ever a franchise face? I mean, do you really think he was a franchise face?
So.
Okay. All right. What else, Gabe? I don't think so. I mean, Derek Brooks, maybe Warren Sapp.
There's the face.
That's the face.
Bucko Bruce is the face of the franchise, isn't he?
Back
Look
then,
at him.
that was the
God,
face.
he looks beautiful.
That was the face of losing, right, Leo?
It was. But they're going to bring it back next year. Allegedly, they get one game next year.
Okay.
Yeah. You got to have the creamsicle at least one game, right, Oz?
Oh. Brady will look spectacular. There's going to be men just, I won't say it, but they'll be very, very excited to see him. And
all right.
Women.
Absolutely.
All right. Go ahead, Gabe.
All right, so I only say Brad Johnson because he won a Super Bowl 37 with us, so that's the only reason why I say him.
Okay. All right. Anything else, Gabe?
Yes, the other two I mentioned, Derek Brooks, there's no question. He would be the face of our franchise if it wasn't for any new players coming in. Thanks, Tom Brady.
I definitely think that Derek Brooks was a face of the franchise. I just don't think he was the clear cut because at the time you're talking about Ronde Barber and John Lynch and Warren Sapp and even Mike Allstott on this team. Keyshawn Johnson thought he was the face of the franchise. I don't know he necessarily lived up to the hype when he was a Buccaneer, but a clear cut franchise face. I definitely think it's Tom Brady right now. Just saying. All right. Anything else, Gabe?
Yes, is the dude going to be on tonight?
The dude will be on tonight. He will abide. I believe that's what he says. So he will definitely be on tonight. We got Leo on and Ozzie on. You got a question for these guys or what?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Do you think Mike Allstott would be a Hall of Famer if he was a full-on fullback instead of a halfback?
You guys hear it?
Leo?
Football's a dinosaur. Backs are a dinosaur. And the problem is Allstott is one of the few fullbacks who ran the football. I mean, look at Lorenzo Neal. Lorenzo Neal played fullback for a dozen years in the NFL, and every year there was 1,000-yard rusher behind him. It was one of the Buccaneers. It was LaDainian Tomlinson. And again, if you treat him like he's a Hall of Famer, Allstott's problem is that the fullback it's gone. There's no such thing as a fullback anymore that carries the football. And that was John Gruden's biggest problem. He had Allstott and didn't know what to do with it.
They don't make guys like Mike Allstott anymore. There's big corn-fed boys in Joliet, Illinois, pushing cars through muddy fields. There's big, thick guys. You look at those highlight reels, guys. I mean, that gets your blood boiling. Yeah. And it's a copycat league. The Bucs were very successful with Allstott. You talk about smash mouth, running Allstott in the second half in a 102-degree humidity-soaked Ray J. The other team didn't have a chance. So I don't know why they.
And you know what, Oz? When Allstott broke into the secondary, you had to make a business decision if you were a defensive back whether you wanted to tackle him or not. They didn't call him. They didn't call him the train for nothing. Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
He made Larry Zonka look like a little girl.
Good stuff, Gabe. Thanks a lot.
And that's hard to do.
Thanks a lot for calling the evolution. All right.
I'll call back with some other stuff later on during the night.
All right, sounds good. Use that second call. Open phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with the legend himself, Mr. Leo Haggerty, former coach, scout, and now media member of Night Sports Productions, It's Sports Mag, and of course, Ozzie, the Sports Junkie. Let's go out to the webheads. Let's read some comments here from these guys. What's up, fam, says Nathan. Gabe says, it's the Sports Web. Errol says, go Bucs. Robbie, hello, Bucs report. Let me know something good. We always do here on the Sports Web. Go Bucs. Tampa, says Christopher. Leo, the legend. Laugh my ass off in mask. Yeah, right. Yash says, hello, Bucs family. Bring your passion. Duh. I don't know what that means. Okay. Ozzie, there you go. Rick says, Moon is letting his ego talk. Booker Reese was the face of the franchise. Not so much.
Okay.
Derek Brooks is the face. Let's see. Ozzie. Gabe says Mike Evans is the best. SportsJunkieRadio.com. Go Bucs, says Anthony.
My mom's all over the place.
Yeah, there you go. Did you guys see what Jameis said on BR? We did. So speaking of that, let's get on to that here. Jameis Winston had an interview with Bleacher Report. I'm going to get to this right now because we were going to definitely talk about this. I know you love the Jameis Winston talk. And he says he is better than a lot of quarterbacks who will enter the season as NFL starters. I know what I'm worth, and I know day in and day out without publicly coming in and saying it, that historically I'm one of the best quarterbacks to play the game. There's people talking about me like I'm old, washed up quarterback, like I'm 40 years old. I've got so much life. I've got so much energy, man. This is not over for me. Yeah, I think it's kind of fair comments because if you look at his statistics, he does match up with some of the greatest of all time. If you look at his first 5 years in the league, it's Peyton Manning. Like, I get what he's saying, and he's not old, guys. He's 26 years old. Yes, I get it. He threw 30 interceptions last year, and he definitely has a turnover problem. But remember, here's a quarterback that threw for over 5,000 yards and second in passing touchdowns behind Lamar Jackson. So it's not like he's saying anything that's ridiculous. He still has confidence. Do you have a problem with these comments, Ozzie?
It wasn't an anomaly last year, Pete. He led the league in interceptions, I think, his first 5 seasons. I mean, this isn't something that came out of nowhere. It got worse and worse. And you know what his biggest mistake was, and I've talked about with Leo, and I talked about it with you, Pete. If he would have sat out the last 2 games, coming off a 900-yard 2-game performance with 4 picks, 8 touchdowns, and I don't think 3 picks, he'd have been signed, sealed, and delivered. He wouldn't be talking Tom Brady. But he went out there, and, well, he made a mess of it. The Houston game was a disaster. The Atlanta game wasn't much better. And to finish the season on a pick 6 and to finish his career in Tampa on a pick 6, there's no way the Glazers could bring that back. There's no way with a straight face they could say we're changing the uniforms and we have a new look, a new foot moving forward. But we're going to lose opening day on a Jameis pick 6. So, again, it's as much as I love to talk about him all the time. I mean, God bless him for being positive.
Yeah.
But 31 teams agree with me, and only 1 touched him.
And Leo, he really has an opportunity here to start.
You know what?
Go ahead.
Yeah. And again, Ozzie, you and I knew right away he wasn't coming back when after the Atlanta game, I went point blank to Bruce Arians, is Jameis fixable? And it was silence for about 5 seconds. He goes, well, we'll have to decide that later. That decision was already made. I got a feeling that
I don't know which I like
before
better,
he got there.
Watching the Bucs game or anticipating the post-game press conference when Leo would always have the first dagger right in the throat. Coach, what the hell are you doing on that 3rd down? What do you mean? I mean, Leo just goes straight for the throat. You got to love him.
Yeah.
He's the face of sports. What are we talking about? Leo Haggerty should be on the face of the new stadium.
He's the clear-cut franchise.
He's a Mount Rushmore of men. Wait a minute, that's redundant.
I'm sorry. All right. Speaking of franchise,
I can't wait to see him go all over Brady. He's going to go right for the throat. Tom, what the the hell's with you? What the hell's with you, Brady?
But you kind of wonder if that honeymoon could be ended. And I think it comes always down to winning with Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans. I mean, there's high expectations with this team. A lot of people expect them to have 11 or 12 wins. What if they don't start out right? You know, I feel like that's certainly a possibility with everything going on. So they just had.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Well, they're short a bunch of practices, and for a new quarterback working into us, I'm not sold that he's learning Arians' system as much as Arians and Brady have come up with a system that's going to work for next year, one and done type of situation.
Right.
But he's got to get it done next year, and it's all the chips are in the middle of the table. It's all or nothing. Sure, there's going to be a year after that, but if they go 6-10, that's probably bye Bucko Bruce. And you don't know if I'm sure Tommy will come back for another $25 million. But we'll
if
see.
They go 6-10, that's a problem. That's a big time.
That's a total flop. Total flop.
You know what, guys? I think anything over 10 wins for any team this year with what's happening is an unrealistic expectation. I think 10 wins the South, and it may win a lot of divisions because Bruce Arians brought it up. He goes, we've already missed 400 reps for these people. You can't make that up. And I don't know if you saw the reports today. Now they're talking about they're going to have to cut back on preseason games. Again, in the Northeast, I don't see how the Eagles, the Giants, the Jets, the Patriots, the Ravens, the Redskins, Chicago, and both LA teams, they're not going to be able to get to camp with everybody else. And the big thing the NFL strives itself on is competitive balance. Right now, if you can't get everybody in, and, you know, Arians said, we cannot open camp. Now, I think that'll change if those other teams that I just talked about can't get in either. Because what an advantage you would have going 2 weeks before everybody else. Hello?
Yeah. Well,
that's the problem.
Well, here's the thing.
That'd almost be like Ozzie on women's professional basketball. It's stealing, right, Oz?
Yeah. My girl cashes more tickets on Beaver Ball than anybody in the country. A lock. You know, they're talking about all these different stipulations for Major League Baseball. I haven't heard any as far as football. What is the seating going to be? Is it going to be a 3-seat barrier? Are they going to go with a 20,000, 10,000? And you make a great point, Leo. The Northeast teams aren't those people still under quarantine? If you leave New York and come to Florida, you can't leave your hotel for 15 days. How's that work?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, and guys, according to NFL.com, of course, the Bucs and Lions have reopened their facilities. Coaches are still working from home. And basically, this is from the Bucs director of athletic performance, Gregory Skaggs. Our plan has been modeled after what has been found to be successful in healthcare. Measures such as screening, physical distancing, mask wearing, increased hygiene, and a supportive culture. We work with local media, infectious disease. All right, we'll go ahead and get back to that in a moment. Let's go out to the phone lines. Johnny Dean, welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I wanted
Johnny Dean.
Stuff that Leo and Ozzie was talking about there. I'm in Pittsburgh, and here in Pittsburgh, it's open. We're in the green right now. And the Steelers are going to, and both Pitt and the Steelers are both going to go with half stadiums and, of course, quarantining people from going to their families and stuff in and out of games, and doing all the testing and all that crap. But it's pretty much, as far as I know, Pittsburgh, the Jets, and Buffalo are all on the same thing. And there's no way the NFL is going to give a advantage to anybody. I mean, if anything comes to that, they would put all the teams in. They discussed earlier, like in May, I think it was, that they were going to put all the teams, divided the teams in regions, and then put them all in one area. But now it looks like they're going to just hope that August is better and just play out the season at half attendance if they have to. I know Pittsburgh, the Steelers have robots in the stadium cleaning out everything. So they're using that technology. I don't know about the rest of the league, but.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, Mr. Skaggs of the Bucs here is saying, look, they have a comprehensive plan focused on maintaining the health and safety of our employees and their families. And I was reading something the other day, and they have strength and conditioning workouts must be limited to small groups, no more than 15, locker rooms not being together. I mean, Johnny Dean, guys, do you really think this can all work, the social distancing thing? It seems like, look, I get it. I understand the safety issue, but it also seems like it's a little bit inconvenient.
Yeah. When does that stop? How long does that is that in effect for the entire training camp? Because we're screwed. Every team's screwed. If they can't even get a full practice together, how the hell are they going to get a preseason game, let alone a regular season game? And how many planes are they going to take? Are they going to take separate buses? Do they get? I mean, it's almost laughable if it wasn't so an integral part of all our lives.
Go ahead, Leo.
And again, guys, I'm going to go back to this. Do not be surprised if you do not see all players, all coaches, and anybody in that stadium wearing a mask. That's just this for safety reasons. And I'm going to throw this one out at you. Adam Silver dropped the bomb last week when he said, hey, we may ban the older coaches from the sidelines. And again, Peter, I asked Bruce Arians point blank, you're the guy most susceptible to getting this with your health history and your age. And he's nodding. He said, yeah, I am. And he wasn't even in Tampa. He was up in Georgia at his lake house trying to get away from people. So again, I think it's going to be a roll of the dice no matter what. They're going to play. They're going to televise simply because they've got 7.25 billion reasons to do that. And that's the money they make off of TV contracts. And it's just going to happen. And I got a feeling they're going to say, okay, you want to come in, you come in at your own risk to watch football.
Yeah, no. Johnny Dean, anything else?
Yeah, as far as what Leo just said about the coaches and stuff, it's funny because all the staff is allowed back into facilities. Like the Steelers went in there, half the team went in there, and most of the general maintenance staff and people are all back in the facility there today, and no coaches allowed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to think. I try to get positive and get optimistic, but some of this stuff that I'm reading right now, I mean, just take for instance this, and you can stay on the line and tell me what you think about this. Strength and conditioning workouts must be okay. We talked about that. Let's see. Meetings must be conducted virtually to the extent possible. If any person meetings are necessary, clubs must make efforts to hold in-person meetings outdoors with participants sitting apart from one another and wearing masks. In-person meetings that do not have physical distancing are prohibited. Clubs also must establish physical distancing protocols to allow players and or staff to maintain 6 feet distance from one another when inside the facility. And they're also talking about the locker rooms. Ozzie, you've seen these locker rooms. They're not huge. Not everybody has a huge locker room. I'm kind of wondering how this all works out.
It's the recipe for disaster. It's so many stipulations. It reminds me the restrictions of my last divorce. I had to stay 500 feet away from the checking account at all times. Restraining order I was looking for. No, it's a cheap joke. I don't know. It's just Leo's right though. Baseball, I don't see any way they strike over anything in baseball. You think they're going to play for a third of their pay just because America wants they want to play baseball? Baseball. If they're not practicing now, it's not happening. And good luck with spring training in Florida in July, fellas.
Yeah.
You've been outside today? And I saw the Wicked Witch of the West melting down. It was nothing but a hat. So but Leo hits right on the head. Peter, football will be played. Apparently, there's some kind of hockey tournament. I don't know what the heck that is going to be about out in Vegas. I like the fact it's going to be in Vegas, but I guess they're going to play right up until they drop the puck in the new season. I'm all for sports. I'm all for just keep on playing, but there's no way baseball happens. But football will happen, even if it's empty stadiums.
Johnny Dean, anything else?
And you know what, Peter? I'm going to leave you on this note. The NBA is in Orlando, but to get a press credential, you got to agree to come what they say in the bubble, where you have to come and stay at Disney for the entire duration from July through to November. Now, can you imagine the poor security guard when LeBron James wants to leave and go out and party in Orlando, and he goes, "Mr. James, you can't leave the facility." I'm hoping that, again, this league does not need the worst case scenario, and that's for 7, 8, 9 teams to get this on one team, because now you are completely decimated. Do you forfeit 2 games? I mean, I don't think they've even thought through this, that what's going to happen. And again, Ozzie, you hit the nail on the head. Asymptomatic. What does that mean? Do you have it or don't you have it? Right.
Well, if they're testing every
Gentlemen,
day, what wouldn't they know if somebody has it right away? I mean, if they're going to be testing daily, aren't they? I don't know.
All right.
We don't know. Incubate, again, there's another SAT word. How long it's going to incubate within the system before it actually shows itself. So it's kind of crazy. Gentlemen, I'm going to have to call it an evening. And
all right, Leo. All right, Leo Haggerty, we'll get you out of here. We'll
be the best, man.
All right, buddy. There you go. Former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions. That's Leo Haggerty. He had little Wi-Fi problems tonight. I felt like I was kind of watching a Japanese movie. That's okay. We got Ozzie the
It was like porn from the early 80s. A porn from what do you call it? Home computer porn. Boy, that's come a long way. I'll tell you one thing they won't have, Pete, and that will be bats served at games. No bats on any menus.
Well, they were serving crickets in baseball games. I didn't understand that at all.
I don't understand that when you go out to Rocky Mountain oysters. I'm not eating anybody's testicles. Man, woman, man, dog. Give me a thing of fries or something. You don't have popcorn out there? Who eats testicles?
I have no idea. 727-255-0391, 255-0391. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Ozzie, the Sports Junkie. Thanks to Leo Haggerty for having him on. We'll get Joshua Cole Allen on here at 10 o'clock. We'll have a very special interview with a former New England Patriot player and now Houston Texan, Keon. Wow, his name escapes me at this point. Let's go out to the web.
How about the former Patriot got murdered in Tampa over the weekend? What a horrible story that was, Pete.
Yeah, 41 years old, Rayshay Caldwell, which was very disappointing to hear. Did some really good things in the NFL, and then unfortunately, he had a really bad AFC Championship game, and what you hear is it really kind of haunted him for the rest of his life, and it seemed like no NFL team after that really wanted anything to do with them. But it's always sad to hear of a young man who's 41 years old, that's my age, he'll basically lose his life over violence. So God bless him. Rest in peace to his family, the Caldwell family, being a local kid. It's just been a very crazy offseason with lots of things going on, and I can't wait till the NFL season starts. But just going back to this whole deal with shortening the preseason, we kind of talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Tom Pelissero from the NFL Network is reporting that they're going to lower the games down from 4 to 2. I like that idea because I've been told and I've seen this from coaches saying basically we do all of our evaluation in training camp. Do you like the idea of them going from 4 preseason games to 2?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that goes with that. I think across the board, everyone hates preseason football. After 2 games, you're done. It's like you get all excited for a premiere of a movie or something, and it's all scrubs and all just fluff. And I've never watched a preseason game I've actually been satisfied. It's completely, basically, training for your mind and eyes just to get ready because the leap from preseason to regular season football is so massive and such a gigantic. It's not even the same ball game. For starters, you get the starters for 4 quarters. That always boggled my mind too with Winston. We're going to play him 2 series tonight. I might want to play him maybe a half, considering he's throwing 30 picks a year. I never understood that. If a guy has a weakness, isn't that the time you want to utilize that practice time? But it doesn't. Not that Brady needs a lot of work, although it's a new team. You'd like to think that Leo made a great point. You'd like to think that he doesn't need all that practice, but what quarterback doesn't need practice with a new team, all new teammates, all new coaches?
Right.
He is Tom Brady, but they're missing. He's right. There's like 4,000 snaps they've missed. So, and then you cut the preseason down to 2, but I don't have any problem at all with that. That third, the third preseason is the only one to watch. The fourth is a complete and utter. I've never left a game, Pete, before halftime. Twice. And they always wind up playing the Texans on like a Thursday night. It's pouring down rain. There's no starters. You still got to pay full price to park. Beers are obnoxiously expensive. I left with 3 minutes to go in the first quarter about, 15 odd years ago, and I'll never go to another preseason game again. Total waste of money. It's a waste of time to watch on TV, let alone go in person.
It really is. I mean, it can be. It can definitely be. And you're looking for those first 2 drives, and you kind of wonder with Brady and his experience and also the possibility, knock on wood, that he gets hurt, do you really want to play him that many games? Right. I think you maybe see him a couple series, and then that's it. You got to preserve him because, again, he's 43 in August. You don't want him to sustain an injury in preseason. Why take the chance? But then again, the problem is he's learning a new offense. So basically, you're going to have to get a lot of your work in training camp. And oh, by the way, that may be delayed. So we'll see.
Pete, I got a question for you, Pete. And this has, of course, been lobbed out there with the, Black Lives Matters and all, those people out there demanding justice as they should.
Sure.
The Kaepernick issue, it's thrown out there with the Bucs being interested. And Kaepernick is a backup. They could probably get him on the cheap. I mean, do we really want to put all our eggs into the Blaine Gabbert basket or, God forbid, Ryan Griffin? I mean, this guy's had 5. This guy's made more money on the practice squad than anyone in the history of the NFL.
I've always said this. I have no problem with Colin Kaepernick getting a job in the NFL. If he's best suited, if he can be the backup quarterback, you kind of wonder, though, with Kaepernick being out of the league for the last 3 years, what is he going to bring? He has to learn a new offense, which is confusing. I could say Cam Newton. If Cam Newton is healthy, maybe that's a possibility. How much money is it going to cost you? But if Kaepernick's out there and they feel like he's going to give them the best opportunity to win, I have no problem with it at all. You look at when he left the NFL, 16 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, a god-awful team in the San Francisco 49ers. You're not going to put all that on him. Of course, there is the distraction to some people, but I believe this team can handle it, especially with Coach Arians' statements about social injustice. I would not be surprised if they were talking to Colin Kaepernick. Would not be surprised at all.
You want to talk about a media explosive, a nuclear bomb of media. You put Tom Brady and Colin Kaepernick and Gronk all in the Tampa Bay locker room. They couldn't print enough press passes. The whole stadium would be media, Pete.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Every corner of the earth.
Ozzie, let's go out to the phone lines here. We got Gabe from Oklahoma. Welcome back to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. What's on your mind?
I just want to bring this up since y'all are talking about it right now.
Okay.
Who replaced Colin Kaepernick in San Francisco?
I agree. It's Blaine Gabbert. But look, at the end of the day, do you want Blaine Gabbert? Do you want Colin Kaepernick? I think I'm on the
Blaine Gabbert. Colin Kaepernick's just a sideshow.
Okay.
He makes a great point. Blaine Gabbert looked great last year in preseason, and Arians has experience with him. He was his backup in Arizona. He says he has all the experience in the world. I don't know what happened. What the hell happened to Gabbert last year? He hurt his hand, and he never was seen again.
Yeah, he got hurt in the preseason, the third preseason game, which is the worst.
What did he do? Did he break his spine? He tweaked his hand. I never saw him again. I think he got shot.
Ozzie, I can't do with you, man. I got to have you on for like 2 hours because you make me laugh till you break your
If him and the dude were on in the same call, I would not contain anything.
Jeez. So we got to get you on Friday night, Ozzie, again.
I'd love to, man. I can't wait to get together with you at Ferg's, whether there's a game or not. We'll go up there and just call color commentary for these Korean baseball games.
Absolutely. Sounds good. It sounds like a funny plan. Gabe, what else, buddy?
That was basically it. Y'all were just talking about that. I thought, you know what? I'll throw my 2 cents in.
Okay, good stuff. Well, you always have your 2 cents here. Use your third call. How many calls you want? Just bring it here on the Sports Web. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Ozzie, the Sports Junkie. What did he do? He break his spine. We got 5 more minutes to go. We'll get you out of here. Let's read somebody. Well, actually, let's go back out to the comments here or go back to the phone line. Rick, welcome back to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. What's on your mind?
I'll be quick about this, but about Kaepernick. Kaepernick became a vegetarian, lost a lot of weight, became a backup quarterback. He wasn't the same quarterback.
Sure.
So then he turns into a backup quarterback, and then he's out of the league for 4 years. Can you name any backup quarterback that would be remotely being spoken about after being out of the league for 4 years?
No,
Not even a starter. We're talking a backup.
Right. I can't really, but like I said, if NFL teams, if Bruce Arians and that offensive staff, namely Byron Leftwich, feel like he's going to be an upgrade over what the Bucs have, I have no problem with it. I don't care about the political crap. They have the right to kneel. I don't care about that. Can the guy play in the league still? If he can play in the league still, he has a place. You can't tell me that Colin Kaepernick is not better than some of these backup quarterbacks. I mean, you got a quarterback.
I can.
Rick, you got Peterman, Nathan Peterman, who threw 1,000 interceptions and for some reason continues to get a job with the Raiders. I have no idea what Gruden or the infatuation that he has with Nathan Peterman, but he is absolutely god-awful. He should not be in the league. Colin Kaepernick could take that job in 1,000 years.
I don't know enough about him to comment, but I can only tell you he had his skills had diminished. He became a backup to Gabbert, right? I mean, he became a backup for a reason, and then now he's been out of the league for 4 years on top of that.
Right.
I mean,
there's a risk.
You can't look at
I get it
from before and say, look, I got no problem if he kneels. I don't care about any of that. I do not care about that at all.
Well, let me ask you, Rick.
Go for a mobile quarterback.
Okay.
If you're going to go for anything remotely like that, and don't tell me he's coming cheap. Let me tell you something. There's no reason you wouldn't get Cam Newton before that.
Well, no, I agree with that. And he's not going to come cheap. None of those quarterbacks are going to come cheap. But let me ask you this. You want Blaine Gabbert and Ryan Griffin over Cam Newton and Colin Kaepernick? Yes or no? Which one?
Yes, because of the system. I mean, you're trying to fit you're trying to fit a square peg in a round hole.
I got you.
Why in the world would you want a quarterback like Cam Newton or Colin Kaepernick in Arians' system? They don't fit. It's not that they're not better. I'm not saying they're not better quarterbacks.
Right.
But that's just not a fit.
I mean, I think
not remotely close.
Rick, I think I would be concerned about that just because of the system being so complicated with other quarterbacks coming into the league and with their mobility. But I think you can use their mobility. But you're exactly right. That's the case here, Ozzie. Kaepernick has been out of the league for years. Cam Newton, you feel like he's hurt. He has maybe something left. What does he have left? There's other NFL teams that have stayed away from him. Is it finance? Is it health? But I think both of the quarterbacks, in my opinion, will probably an upgrade. The reason why you would keep Gabbert and Griffin is because of what Arians said today. Basically, these quarterbacks know the system, and that's who you go with. Anything else, Rick?
Yeah, one more thing. Is there anything over the last 4 years, anything at all, that makes you think Kaepernick wants to play?
I don't know.
He had a workout. He had the workout, but that was such a convoluted made-for-TV thing that his lawyers ruined it. And I mean, it was a disaster.
Yeah, I mean,
everything he's done has been a kind of a. I mean, I get it. God bless him. He's made what, 160 million or something crazy like that.
Sure.
And you become a backup quarterback, your skill levels diminished, and then you go make 160 million doing. What's he done? I don't even know.
Yeah,
So
I mean, that's the thing, right? He's still working out, but it's different. You know, I've never played in the NFL before, but it's a different shape. You have to get into it, and we'll see. We'll see if NFL teams give him a job. I think, look, if he's still qualified, he can do the job. You feel like he can help you as a backup quarterback and maybe challenge somebody as the starter. Go and sign him. Everything else, you know, I don't give a crap about. I really don't. But you're exactly right.
I want to throw out one thing, though.
Yeah, sure.
I want to throw out one thing. And
Go ahead.
This is a genuine concern because I love football. Is this. Okay, I get it. I have no problem with the kneeling. I understand. And I will even go as far as to say I was wrong the first time around. Okay? I flat out admit it. I called it wrong the first time. I understand it better now. I was idiot. I'm a pasty white boy who didn't get it. All right? Now I do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, having said that, I don't want everybody bringing their cause onto the field, during a football game. I don't want everybody bringing whatever they want to fight for, whatever injustice, whatever I don't want it all. Everybody coming up with some different cause, some different way to protest, some different way to whatever. And how do you draw the line?
Well, you just say, look, it's America at the end of the day. You got freedom of speech and you can do these things. And the reason why they're doing it in the national anthem, I was like you with the national anthem. I didn't necessarily agree with it, but I understand. And, you know, maybe there's people out there that don't agree with it. That is the great thing about America. That is the great thing about the sports web. You can have sense.
He brings up a great point, though, Pete. And I saw online a friend of mine asked, what would offend you more? Kneeling at a game or burning a flag? I said, you got a player kneeling at a game, there might be a murmur in the crowd, maybe a little bit of a boil. You got a guy burning a flag, you would have I don't care if it's the most right or liberal state in America, there'd be a full-on riot. And that you have the freedom to do that in this country. Sure. I dare you to burn a flag in a football stadium. Right. It's going to be ugly.
I mean, and look,
right, and that's the thing. Although, let me tell you something right now. Well, first of all, I worked. If you know the rapper Nelly, I did photography for him when he had a NASCAR team for a little while in the truck series.
Sure.
And you want to talk about a bizarre combination of people being together all at one time. And I mean, you've got what you've got going on now. It's all fantastic. I actually love it. But yeah, you start there's some things that are not gonna mix. And you're pushed. I mean, you've got to be able to draw the line somewhere. You don't want players writing on their uniform. Remember Jim McMahon with the headband with whatever cause he had?
Right.
And you just don't want to lose control of this because it can get out of control where everybody's got a cause, whatever that cause is.
And Rick, I get that, but here's the thing. At the end of the day, it's not the owners that run the league, and they think they do because they make the most money. It's not the commissioner that runs the league. It's the players that run the league. And even Goodell came out the other day and said, look, the players have the power, and the players have had power in all these leagues, and the NFL has kind of shied away from it. And now you can see a transformation of players kind of saying, you know what, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and what are you going to do about it? And I feel like, look, there are uniform standards. I think they get a little bit ridiculous when, you're able to have a cause for cancer, you're wearing, pink cleats, it's good, but somebody can't do it out of that October month. They can't do it for something else.
No, it's because the NFL is making money off of every little bit of all.
And let's not be mistaken here, because they're making money off of everything else, including, and this came back to 2009. And I'm patriotic and I'm about the national anthem, but at the end of the day, really, with all the fans saying they're going to get away from the game because somebody is kneeling, do you believe them or you don't? I don't believe it. I think football is football. No matter if they're kneeling or whatever happens for this game, it's always going to be about football. And that's it.
They lost people for a little while there. Ratings were down. I think they lost people for a little while, but they didn't stay away. And I don't think they'll go away this time. But I'm telling you, it can get out of hand because somebody's going to have some cause that, there's a point where, like he said, what are you going to, some guy feels the right to burn a flag on the sideline. Some guy, I
don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that will happen.
I'll give you guys an over-under. What's the over-under that Drew Brees kneels with his teammates on opening day? I guarantee he does.
Yeah.
I think everybody's going to kneel.
Yeah, and I know I don't think a lot of people should have a problem with it, but they do have a problem with it. Is it gonna really affect you that badly? Is it gonna kill you? I mean, I think about it all the time. Like, we as fans, we watch the game. Do we stand for the national anthem when we're at home? No, we're going out there
on our couch,
right,
scratching our,
right,
bag of Cheetos on our lap.
exactly. So what are we talking about here? If it is doing something for the cause and doing something for these players to help them and help the whole movement, then why not? I don't like. I'm looking at it. I'm thinking there's more things in this world that you could get upset about. Like, I
get but you're focusing on one thing. It can get out of hand with everybody trying to get attention for their cause.
Everybody's out of hand. It's social media. Welcome to America. I mean, this is the great thing about freedom, and then there's also some downsides. You have to either embrace all of it or not embrace any of it. That's
I hope it doesn't start everybody trying to get attention for their cause during a game.
I got you.
Really hope
I got you. I understand it. I get you, Rick. Good stuff. Thanks a lot for calling the Sports Web. Definitely call back. All right, boss?
Yep.
All right, good.
That's a great call, because I said that about Kaepernick, Pete. I said his cause that he was kneeling for was by week 5, 6, or 7 of that was completely lost.
Yeah.
Nobody was talking about why he was kneeling. The story was he was kneeling. And what he was trying to get across was lost in all the furor about the act itself. I hope that doesn't carry on. And everyone has a right to protest everything they want to protest, but when it overshadows the game, that just it's almost like church and state. You want to keep your politics out of football, or sports. You'd hope. But I mean, it's inevitable at points when when black guys are getting killed and kneeled to death, choked out on the street. Obviously, black athletes are gonna stand up and say this is a crazy. We're not going to stand for it. So
yeah,
I see both sides of the coin, but I hate when the message is lost in the melee and all the press that focuses just on the kneeling itself and not why they're kneeling.
Exactly. Good stuff, Ozzie.
I mean, look at Drew Brees lost the point himself.
Yeah.
He didn't really say anything bad. It's what he didn't say that it pissed off his teammates.
Yep. All right, Ozzie, we're going to get you out of here. Let's get another call, and then we'll get you out of here. Welcome to the evolution of sports talk television. You got to turn down your phone there.
We're going to get you out of here. Let's get another call.
Yeah, how you doing, man?
What's up? What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Corey Putney, man. I'm from Dinwiddie, Virginia.
Okay.
I was calling about the that running back situation. I know we were wanting to get that free agent running back, but I don't know if we're going to be able to get him or not. What's your thoughts on that running back, sir?
Well, Corey, Devontae Freeman, to me, look, I think the Bucs are happy with what they have at running back at this point. Ronald Jones, I don't know if you've seen Twitter, seen some of his workouts. He looked like he's bulked up. He's at 225. He has to catch the ball more consistently. I think he did a little bit of that last year. He's got to be a better pass protector. I happen to think the Bucs are happy with what they have in a Jones and a Keyshawn Vaughn, who they drafted in the 3rd round. Devontae Freeman is going to cost a lot of money. He's already turned down $4 million. I think it's interesting that Bruce Arians threw it out there, and they would be interested if he's willing to take less money. But look, Devontae Freeman doesn't have to take less money. He could probably sit out or wait for a running back to get hurt, so I don't see it happening. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, man, that answers my question, man. I appreciate you taking my call, man. Have a good night.
Yeah, man, appreciate you. There you go. All right, Ozzie, the sports junkie. There you go. Made somebody happy.
A quick addition to that, Pete. I think the Bucs maybe do a little cherry picking as training camp cuts are made. Maybe a free agent of note will be available. I don't think they go completely into the season with all hopes on Rojo. I agree with you totally. I saw the exact same video you're talking about, the Twitter. He looked unbelievable, just in underwear football, as they call it. But He looks like he's bulked up. I'll tell you, he looked every game last year. Now, he only had a 100-yard game, but every game he looked like he was about to bust one. About to bust one every game. He's got the quick, so maybe it's time for him to turn it on. And the Vaughn kid out of Vanderbilt. I mean, once again, just like Rojo by Mel Kiper was called the most exciting player in the draft. A lot of people call him Keyshawn Vaughn the most exciting player in the draft, the most 55-yard plus touchdowns in all of college football. The guy's got a case of the quicks.
Yes, he does. He's got a case of the quicks, and you can get to that second or the third level. He could definitely become special. Speaking of special, Ozzie the Sports Junkie, go ahead and promote yourself here on the Evolution.
Check me out at OzzieTheSportsJunkie.com. Got an all-new studio working. Always fresh new product. You go to Spotify, iTunes, Google, or just go to OzzieTheSportsJunkie.com, Facebook. Go to your local post office. I'm usually on the wall there. I'd say I'm in a newspapers, but they don't exist anymore. But check me out, OzzieTheSportsJunkie.com. Download the SoundCloud app. If you want a free way to follow the show, SoundCloud. You download it for free. It's on your phone. Every time I put out something, it automatically loads. You listen to it, and it makes your day that much better.
All right, good stuff. Ozzie the Sports Junkie.
My day was better being on with you and Uncle Leo.
Yes, and especially with the Japanese movie there with him. You know, we'll get that Wi-Fi worked out. Thanks a lot, Ozzie the Sports Junkie, for joining me here on the.
I love the phone lines, man. The show looks great. It sounds great. You're doing a great job. I can't wait to get up there to Ferg's and start pounding. Just as pads are popping, beers are popping, and mouths are popping, and that's what we do, man.
That's what we do. Definitely, we do that here on the Evolution. Don't be a stranger. Who knows? Maybe we'll have you on Friday night because I was just laughing my ass.
I got nothing better to do.
All right, Ozzie the Sports Junkie. Thanks a lot for joining me here on the Sports Web. See you, boss. There you go. So we're running a little bit late. We're supposed to have Joshua Allen on. Let's get him on here. Just great guest tonight. Welcome to the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Peter. How you doing tonight?
Doing good, buddy. And you have an interview coming up. I mean, lo and behold, Joshua Cole Allen, the hardest working man on Bucs Report. I thought I was the guy. I thought Ray Kennedy and Blake Anthony and Keith Larson and guys like that were the hardest working men here. But it's Joshua Cole Allen, a writer who's been here a total of 3 weeks. Welcome to the family once again. What do you got for us tonight?
So tonight we have an interview with former Patriots, current Texans cornerback Keon Crossan. He was part of that Super Bowl 53 championship run with LA Rams against the LA Rams. He's got some good tidbits on, Tom Brady and Gronk and what it was like going up against them in practice and some interesting information. He also threw a little dig in to Tampa Bay fans about Raymond James, so you'll have to listen for that. But it's a good interview, solid, great nuggets from it, and I hope you guys really enjoy it.
All right, and what's the player's name again so I don't forget it?
Keon Crossan.
Keon Crossan. All right. Now he is a former New England Patriot. Now he's a Houston Texan. Let me put you in the lobby here. You guys wanted players in the NFL. We give you players here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Enjoy.
Josh Allen here from Bucs Report. I'm with Super Bowl 53 champion Patriots and current Texans cornerback Keon Crossan. Keon, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. Yourself?
Doing very well. Thanks for asking. How have you been this offseason? What have you been up to?
Oh, man. Honestly, man, just trying to stay safe out here, man. Deal with that COVID-19.
Yeah.
Trying to make sure me and my family's safe and anyone else around us. But other than that, man, been working hard, grinding, getting ready for the season to start whenever that is. So, that's about it, man.
Perfect. Now, you were traded to the Texans last year from New England. What was something that you took away or learned from your experience in New England and your time there, and how did that help you in Houston?
I think I was traded around like September 1st, August 30th-ish. But I learned a lot, man, and a few core things that they teach you is pretty much, ignore the hype, control what you control every day. I think Bill Belichick put it one of the best ways I've ever heard it was, you don't have to be perfect, but you got to be good. That's stressful to be good every day because all you're doing is building consistency, though, at the end of the day. Because a perfect person is, you won't find that. But the elites of the elites, like the Bradys and the Gronks, they're very, very, very consistent. The McCourtys, they're very consistent at what they do every day. Stephon Gilmore, every day it's consistent every day. So that's one thing I learned, and I'm still actually is being threaded into our heads today with the Texans. So it's kind of what I learned. Another thing was teamwork. Yeah. Teamwork, communication is big. and that's on and off the field. You build, you create team camaraderie in off season.
Yeah.
That's by the work you put in first and foremost. You build trust by the work you put in, and you obviously build a winning organization just because you trust each other so much from the work you put in. So obviously I'm a workaholic, so I'm all about the work. So that's a few things I've learned from New England that I brought to the Texans.
That blood, sweat, and tears mentality.
Yeah, man. I think that's what you got to have every day anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. So what was it like going against Tom Brady in practice? And how did the challenge of going against him improve your game?
As a rookie, I would say I would include myself and J.C. Jackson. I think we're probably two of the rookies that probably challenged me the most at corner because it's hard. I mean, you got J.C. who's a big corner, has speed. It's hard to throw in that guy, as you can see, as he played well, the last few years in the league. I was more speedster, played inside and outside. So, you could get a step, but I'll get that step right back. And, it was times where I know Brady come to me and they ask me like, hey, Key, what you think about, you think this guy get a step on you if we do this? And that was pretty dope for me because I'm like, hey, I'm a rookie and Tom Brady just asked me a question. But I really took that and, I really looked at it as like, this guy has enough trust in you to ask you a question. And he obviously expects, an honest answer, not a prideful answer. So that's the first thing I had to really, tell myself, like, this guy's not looking for pride. He's looking for an honest answer to help us, to help the team. But I think for myself, I think I pushed him every day. He threw in a few tight windows. He threw some great balls. But my challenge was to challenge him every day, to challenge myself every day. And how I challenged myself was, hey, how many balls can you pick off from Tom Brady? How many interceptions can you get? How many PBUs can you get in practice? Because when you're playing against the best of the best in the league, I mean, practice is a game. Because he's got to make those same throws in the game. And if I make it harder in practice, then I know he'll definitely do it in the game. So, he's got 20 plus years of that. So, just also going against some of the best receivers. I mean, he critique routes, So if I'm listening to him critique a route, like, hey, I need you, 12 and come back at 10, I'm listening that day. And, I take that to my game. Okay, hey, if he's going to start punching at 12, I'm going to 12 and a half because I'm going to have a step on him anyway. Because he got to turn around. I'm already looking where he's trying to go. And it's things like that where you kind of push yourself, you listen to help make your game better, help make your teammates' game better, and just make the team better, period.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's great. Subsequently, being an inside-outside corner and with Gronk being lined up in the slot and outside sometimes, what was it like going up against him? And how did that, kind of elevate your game going up against someone as big as him, as, fast as him and as dynamic as him?
I would say it's a great challenge every day. Because this guy will, he'll catch the ball and he'll be laughing. You'll be like, hey, not funny, but, he's like got that goofy laugh, you know what I mean? You're like, hey, it ain't funny, you know what I mean? But it's all in respect. This is how he is. That's his character. He like to have fun while he plays. More of a challenge guy where I'm hey, I don't want you to catch anything. But at the end of the day, it's very important to understand like your personnel. When I went up against Gronk, and it wasn't a lot, but it was whenever I got the chance, I tried to. I almost every time I almost knew what he was doing. Probably 90% of the time I knew what he was doing, and it's like this guy's hands was like a glue. It was like a glue stick, bro. I mean, you can be draped, you can jump on his back and you still catch the ball. But that comes from being consistent, work ethic, practicing his craft, fundamentals. Obviously, great passes from Brady. So, that guy he's fun to play with, fun to be around.
Absolutely, especially where you might know what he's doing to you, but because he's so big and he's got so much experience and so much skill, it doesn't really matter. Just try to defend it the best way you can.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, what was one of the biggest takeaways you took away from their leadership standpoint on and off the field?
For the most part, I think, every detail is important.
Mm-hmm.
And that's to both. I mean, you think of it like I used to literally sit like right behind Brady in the meetings.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy, from the beginning of the meeting to the end of the meeting, this guy has a pen, he's in his notes, he's taking notes, he's writing more notes. Even after the meeting, he's still writing notes. He's writing questions about, things he may need to ask. And it's like, man, this guy's been in there 20 plus years and he's still writing notes. Like, I know it's nothing that he hasn't seen, but the formality of being a professional is exactly what it is. He's a standout professional, man. And I respect Brady a whole lot, man. He actually bought, I don't know if you guys ever seen the containers that he drinks out of, those like containers.
Yeah.
The metal-ish container.
Yeah.
Aluminum, excuse me. But he actually got me one of those. I'll ask him like, hey man, what do you think about if you see down safety, things like that. But it's just the details. He may go back to his notes and be like, well, we probably would do this. It's like, wow, just the details from Brady, man, and his consistency, work ethic. And then from Gronk, man, from him, he's a different breed. So, you got to always have fun. You can't never lose the fun in the game.
Yeah.
I think lose the fun in the game, and it starts becoming just a job. It's the day you probably want to leave. You want to leave the game, and that's what he shows us every day. In my opinion, he probably left because of some injuries the first time. Try to get his body back together.
Yeah.
But he still had fun.
Yeah.
Even when he was injured, he was still having fun, man. I was like, that's crazy. So that just motivated me to kind of like, hey, no matter what happened, win, loss, draw, have fun. Have fun, come to work, be a professional.
Absolutely. And then, Tom Brady's still taking notes like a rookie and then willing to come to give you advice, when you ask for it, not kind of, big timing anybody and just there to help improve the team has got to speak volumes to you as well.
No doubt.
Yeah. So what was it like coming into a program that had immediate Super Bowl expectations? Because in New England, the fans are extremely spoiled, and it's pretty much Super Bowl or bust when you have Tom and Belichick and some of the cast members there. So what was it like coming into that program?
Well, the thing about it is every year you got a new team.
Yeah.
Although your expectations may be Super Bowl expectations, you got a new team every year.
Okay.
And I went to D1 AA college, so the only thing I knew, because I didn't win a championship, I was championship in the contender spot to be a champion multiple times, but we couldn't finish the job. And the thing about it is, just because you're entering somewhere that's expected, you can't rely on expectations.
Yeah.
You gotta rely on reality. And the biggest thing about reality is that if we didn't work hard every day, if we wasn't putting in extra time in the weight room, film room, in the nutritional stages of football, we wouldn't have been champions. But that's a process that happens over and over and over until, like, in New England, you never look at the next game. You look at the game that you have in front of you. It's never about, oh, well, we got 2 weeks ahead. We got this one. It's right now on Monday, we have the New England Patriots versus the New England Patriots, and we're trying to scout whomever we're playing. So that's what you focus on, and you got to work out that. You got to worry about one day at a time. I think that's what when you come in. That's honestly the Patriot way. That's the expectation. That's the expectation that you have. It's not worrying about a championship. We don't even. It wasn't talked about when the previous when I was there. A championship wasn't talked about until we got to the championship.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we spoke on it one time in the playoffs when the playoffs came. It was like, hey, it's go time. It's time to get where we need to go. That was all said. That was the only time it was talked about.
Just quietly expected, but never talked about. I like that.
Only thing you're expected to do is work.
Now, and so Tom Brady obviously came out of Tampa, and if you look at the media and everything, they're all talking about, Super Bowl or bust, Super Bowl in the backyard, the high expectations down here. It's being talked about freely, maybe not so much the players, but everywhere else. What should his teammates expect, and how to handle those expectations for a team that hasn't made the playoffs in almost 17 years?
Well, I can't really speak for his teammates because they're in a different position than I am.
Yeah.
And I don't know them very well. So I can't necessarily speak for his teammates. But as a football player, I would say you got to come to work every day. You got to come to work. You don't just because you have Tom Brady don't mean you won a Super Bowl.
Exactly.
And you figured that out like last year. They had Tom Brady,
Mhm.
Patriots, no Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So, it doesn't really matter about one guy. It doesn't matter about it matters about the team.
Yeah.
Team matters, TAM. If people say, oh, there's a meeting team, I think that was a Jordan. But, yeah, that's basketball. That's a little different.
Yeah.
Football's about all 11 guys because if one person busts, everybody busts. So I think you got, that's going to be on their team to kind of figure out their expectation and their standard. But I know here in Houston, our standard is we want to be championship caliber. We're working on that. And we're gonna definitely get there. So we're gonna grind every day, work every day. I can't speak for Tampa Bay and what Tom Brady teammates may expect, but I know my teammates expect expectations are very high. But we also understand that there's a lot of work that needs to be done and put in to get to the ultimate goal of a Super Bowl championship.
Yeah. What now? Back in New England as well. New England Patriots and Tom Brady brought a specific mindset to that locker room. How do you see more of like a relaxed Tom without Belichick there? Do you see him still bringing that soldier warrior mentality where it's down to the details and not having fun? Or what do you kind of, just an opinion, what do you think is going to happen down there? Because you've seen Gronk a little bit already kind of going off the.
I think you are who you are every day.
Yeah.
So, the Tom Brady that he was in New England, you probably get the same Tom Brady in Tampa Bay. Look at how he started. He wants all the guys' numbers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you are who you are every day. You can't change that. You can't change that. So, I think he'll be who he is, who he's consistently been. And that time will tell itself on who he will be, or in that instance.
How happy are that he's out of a conference now?
I'm sure they are very excited. The Jets, Buffalo.
Just the AFC in general. You guys don't have to go through them in Foxborough.
You know what? It don't matter if we had to go through them in Foxborough or Tampa. We won't go through them. Period. So I know
like that.
We, like I said, we working in. One player can beat 11 guys. So you probably got a lot of impact in beating 11 guys. And I respect his game wholeheartedly, man. Like I said, I played with him, got led us to a Super Bowl. So, but obviously I'm on the opposing end here. So, we working hard over here. We got Deshaun Watson over here too, baby. We're ready to go too.
Oh yeah, a little DJ in the off season as well. I saw the moves you guys have been making. So, yeah. So one other thing is you came here with the Houston Texans to Tampa Bay for a football game last year. What did you see or anything stand out to you when you came in here and scouting the offense and kind of looking at that, special teams? Did anything stand out to you?
Yeah, a lot of things stood out, but I don't think I'm going to tell you what stood out.
Okay.
That's my piece of information and my little I guess get ahead step on Tampa Bay. So I think that. But I tell you what did stand out. The lack of fans that was in the stadium, that was a rough one. So hopefully they can, add some fire to it. That'll make the game a little bit more interesting. Not that we care about the fans, because when we come in, it's normally quiet because we win. So
now, speaking of the fans, the NFL has also been talking about playing the entire season possibly without fans in the stands and also pumping in crowd noise. What are your thoughts on those two things?
In my opinion, I don't really care about the fans. Not to say we don't want fans.
It's not gonna affect your game though.
No, I practice with no fans. I don't mind playing with no fans because when you locked in, it's not about, you don't really hear the crowd. You lock in on your assignment. Everything's going so fast in a way of speaking. Although the game slows down to you, the more years and experience you have, but everything is happening. It's quick on the field, so you don't really have time to be thinking about, are they cheering? Are they booing? Or who cares? But we do appreciate the fans, the support. I don't want to sound like a butthole on this thing, but
I do appreciate their support and their efforts to support whichever team you're with. If we don't have fans, you will be missed by the players, coaches, the entire NFL league. I'm sure I can speak for everybody on that. But if we do have fans, then I'm sure they're gonna have the house jumping anyway. So they want to do it. I think we're professionals. We're gonna handle it as a professional.
Absolutely, great answer. So just how important was it for you coming in to have OTAs and a mini camp and all that stuff as a rookie, and seeing how most of that stuff's been wiped out this year? How do you think that's going to affect this year's crop of rookies? Just speaking in generalities, not knowing,
Yeah. I think this set of rookie class is going to have it probably the hardest, because in the NFL and college is two different entities. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, you got different drops, you got different, play calling, you got 3 plays tagged into 1, then you got motions, and league, you make it 2x2, motion 3x1, back out the backfield, now you got empty. So, it's, and you got 3 different checks right there. So, it's hard to simulate that, with computer streaming. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's ways to simulate that in the real world. The best way you can, cones, at home, if you're at home, get your dog to run, across the field. That's a 3x1. It's a way to do it, but to actually see a body, a helmet, quarterback giving a cadence. I mean, even think about that, a cadence. I mean, because if you go line up right on somebody, you got Tom Brady, he's going to be like, check, he's like up there, man, they're in zone, whatever it is. But you got to learn how to disguise. You got to learn how to win. I think the biggest thing, especially for a corner, is OTAs help you with hand checking.
Yes.
From college to the NFL, you can't hand check. You know what I mean? So, the hand checking, I know you probably remember, but my first year, if you looked it up, I probably got flagged. I got flagged 3 times in one game for a holding call.
Yeah.
2 passing free. I was like, this is ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's the aspect that you have to learn. And most people outside looking in don't really understand that. But that's why you have OTAs, so you can wear pads or mitts or gloves or, ball your fists up so you can work on the little fundamentals that you need. So it'll be interesting to see how many rookies play this year. And how many, prosper, if you will, because, it's a different year. And those guys who do, kudos to you, man, because, you went through hell to do it. So
the level of competition, too, you're playing against, grown men. Some of them have been in the league for, 5, 10, 15 years. It's got to be an extreme jump from the competition. Even if you were, say, in the SEC playing against some of the bigger boys down there, it's got to be just a jump to see how they perform. I think that's what most people are kind of looking at is, without all this practice time, how will these young rookies be able to integrate themselves into NFL offenses to make impacts right away? Like you said, especially with corners, you couldn't check. And now you're going up against someone like, hate to use your former teammate, DeAndre Hopkins or Larry Fitzgerald, or one of these consummate pros who knows how to use their hands to get open, and you're learning how to defend that for the first time. It's got to be extremely challenging.
Very challenging.
Yeah.
They'll get it. Like you say, that like they're professionals too. They'll adjust. And, they'll be all right.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, how has your virtual off season been going? And what have you been doing to stay in shape during the quarantine and everything like that? And what have you been doing to keep yourself entertained? I mean, I know you're probably grinding a lot, but there's got to be some downtime where you can kind of.
Yeah. Virtual off season good, man. I mean, I'm sure I'm doing what everybody else is doing: meetings, working out, just working on craft. That's what I've been doing, man. I'm not gonna really say I'm a perfectionist, but I expect good.
Yeah.
So I know things that I need to work on for my craft that I've specifically been tailored to. I've been working on those things, and it was kind of the thing that was holding me back from being like the excellent corner that I need to be.
Yeah.
So I've been working on those things, and
how you get good at Mississippi is being consistent, and you keep working on until it becomes second and third nature to you. But yeah, I've been doing that, man. I'm a golfer, so I was actually checking Tom Brady out. I was going to tell him about that the one he hit to the wood. I'm like, hey, buddy, we got to do better.
Yeah, split his pants, but he did hit that nice eagle. I don't know if you saw that.
And then he comes back and hit an eagle, so that cancels out.
Kind of talking trash to Charles there for a little bit. That was good. And then the
nice, man. So yeah, I like to golf. I'm probably the same level as those guys.
Yeah.
I'll get lucky and hit an eagle every night. But I like to golf. I like to skate. I like to bowl. Yeah. I'm pretty elite at all of them. So, if you want to try, compete a little bit, let me know.
Absolutely, definitely. And then what do you got going on right now? I mean, I've seen you went back. You're giving back to the community a lot. I heard you went back to school. Is that right?
Yep.
Is there anything else you're working on that people should know about? I know you had the clothing line for a little bit, but what are you up to right now? What's going on?
Yeah, man. So, kind of just innovating everything. We're gonna bring the clothing line back, probably this season. Also, you gotta innovate, and I want to do that online. I want to make it easier to purchase. To be able to support and support in many ways. I think maybe a few months back, I think I donated $20,000 to Western Carolina's FCA, which is my alma mater.
Nice.
So I thought that was big because that's what helped me. Like I said, I'm a Christian, and I really believe that things like that is what changed lives of people.
Yeah, you're ordained too, right?
Sir?
You're ordained as well?
Yeah, I'm a minister.
Yeah, you can marry people and all that.
Yeah, so
preach sermons and
for guys and ladies that's listening, I can marry you. I don't prefer to do this, but guys, ladies and ladies, I'll do you too. So God loves everybody, and so do I. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I've been doing that, man. We're trying to get some things here together to support my community back home. Trying to get some things going in Houston to support the community here, as far as football camps. We want to build some mentorship programs.
Nice.
I'm trying to pair up with the hospital to, help the hospital with, whether that's donating time, donating gloves.
Yeah.
See if I can donate to schools as far as electronics, because I know a lot of schools don't really fund, especially the public. Lower end schools, they don't really fund the tablets and stuff. So seeing how we can pair with them is obviously hard right now in those times because COVID slowing everything down. And we got this the racism issue going on in the world right now.
It's unfortunate.
Which is, we gotta get together as a country and fix this thing, man. So
absolutely.
So that's what I've been doing, man. Also, we've been having Bible study as a team. So I've been trying to keep those guys and myself just, above water, man. And at the end of the day, iron sharpens iron. And that's what I'm here to do, whether it's with my teammates and another community. Wherever it is, wherever I can help out, that's what I'm trying to do.
Nice. That's awesome. That's really awesome. I appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for doing this and giving some insight. And just giving us insight on forming with teammates and on yourself and what's been going on. And is there anywhere people can follow you? Twitter?
Instagram? So I'm on Twitter at simple Keon Crossing. You can find me. Instagram, same thing, Keon_Crossing. If you type in my name at Keon Crossing, you're gonna definitely find me. I'm probably the first one to pop up. But if you follow me, I'll definitely give you a follow back. I see you guys. I want to let you know your voice is heard.
Yeah.
And I'm not the famous person to not see. I'm not blind. I'm not invisible. And I want you to know the same thing. So they can follow me there. And I like comedy. So if you got something funny to send me, please do. I'm down for it.
Nice. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, welcome back to the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Let's go ahead and get him back on again, and we'll get Alex Fleming of Fantasy and Flavors. Joshua Cole Allen, great interview, my friend. What did you take out of this whole interview from him?
There are multiple things that I took out of him. He's not a Buccaneers player, but he definitely gave some great insight about Tom Brady and Gronk. And one of the biggest things that stood out to me in that interview was the fact that he talked about Tom Brady in meetings, taking meetings before, during, and then after, and then still asking questions and still as almost as a rookie, just trying to absorb as much as he can to make himself better, to make his teammates better. And another thing was him actually going up to Keon Crossan and asking him his advice on certain things he saw and certain things that could help him on the offensive side and in turn help him on the defensive side. So if he continues to do that, which I'm sure he will with this team, I think that's just going to be great for the secondary. So I'm excited to see how that plays out with this team.
Now, I know you were in that Zoom meeting today for Carlton Davis. We didn't get a chance to cut some of that audio up. We may do that on Friday night, but what was one main thing that you took out of that Zoom meeting from Mr. Davis?
He knows what he has to do to get better. He spoke about it a lot, that he needs to turn those, 19 pass breakups that he had into interceptions. If you watch the Zoom meeting as well, you can see the jugs machine behind him. So, he's been working on it, which is pretty cool. He talked about one of the big things that Todd Bowles spoke about a few weeks ago was chemistry and continuity. And he talked about that, throughout all of this. He's still been able to keep in touch with his teammates in the secondary and keep that chemistry going and, kind of break down the playbook and break down the film and kind of, go through the motions there to make sure that they're all on the same page and that they know their roles on the defense as well as they can. So when it comes time to get out on the field, that they're able to just go out there and execute, which was another thing he also talked about, being in Todd Bowles' system for another year, having that comfortability. He feels like he'll be able to play a little bit more free and be able to, cause more turnovers. And that a lot of them that himself and Dean had as pass breakups should have been interceptions in the first place.
Yeah, and I think Sean Murphy Bunting mentioned it, and we'll get you out of here on this because I know you got family in town. Really appreciate your time on the Sports Web. Appreciate you, bud. You've been doing a hell of a job here on Bucs Report. But Sean Murphy Bunting even said for this defense to really take that next step, they have to create more turnovers, and it certainly seems like Davis is in that same mindset. What's one of the cons that you see with his game? Is it the over-aggressiveness from him, or is it something else?
I mean, I see that as a con and as a pro. You have to remember he's only going to his third year this year, his second year in Todd Bowles' defense, and that's what Todd Bowles likes to do. He likes to give these players the freelance opportunity if they feel like they can make a play to make the play. And as he said, and as you've seen, he's been working on catching the ball better and the little things to get better and to understand the playbook more. So when it comes down to doing it on the field, he'll be able to execute more. So a lot of those, aggressive plays that he's done, he's learned from them. And, if he can continue to make them, but to capitalize on them more, I think we'll be in a good position. So it's a pro and a con at the same time. Other than that, I think he's got a really sound game all around. And I'm excited to see what he can do and how he progresses this year as kind of the veteran back there among the big three, at least, with Murphy Bunting and Jamel Dean. He did touch on, though, we had our interview with Mazzy Wilkins. He was asked about the depth behind them, and he did touch on how, Mazzy Wilkins is a player who, he really enjoys playing with and he could step up. So it was nice to, hear that praise of someone that we've heard from and we've talked to in the past. So it was nice to, kind of correlate the two. I have a couple more minutes here. I got a couple more points from the press conference if you want me to, throw them out there at you guys. So he actually said that he believes Levante David and Devin White will be the best linebacking duo in the NFL come next season. That's a point that's been thrown out there a lot, and a lot of us agree with that. But to hear it from the teammates, speaks volumes of what they think of this core that we have there. especially if you include the outside linebackers. So that was cool to hear. He also said about Antoine Winfield Jr., he shares an agency with him. So, a week or two after the draft, he got in touch with, through the agency and has spoke with him on a regular basis. They haven't been able to meet up yet, but, they've been building that continuity and that chemistry. And I'm sure Antoine Winfield Jr. has been blowing up his phone, asking him this and that. So, to see them already kind of working together, even though they haven't been able to work together or even meet each other, that was a really interesting point as well. And on respect to his jersey, he changed his jersey this year from 33 to 24 in honor of Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, the Black Mamba. And he said that, ever since he was younger player and younger kid, at least, Kobe Bryant has always been someone he's looked up to, and he's been his favorite player. And, just the way he attacks the game and approaches the game, and, from a smart standpoint, an athletic standpoint as well, and that Mamba mentality, he tries to bring that on the field. So, it was, something that he wanted to do to kind of, pay respects to Kobe Bryant, which I thought was really cool as well.
Yeah, and have that Mamba mentality. And it seems like, look, you look at the last couple games versus DeAndre Hopkins, one of the top wide receivers in the league, who, oh, by the way, is in the NFC with the Arizona Cardinals. He did a phenomenal job defending him versus the Texans, and then also did a bang-up job versus Julio Jones. So the potential is there. He's still young, and you have to be really excited about this secondary coming together. I think it's one of the things I'm going to be watching and thinking that it's going to be a strength instead of a weakness. Joshua Cole Allen, go ahead and promote yourself. Get out of here. Get to family. Where can they follow you on Twitter, and what are you working on next?
So it's at Joshua_C_Allen for my Twitter. I retweet, a lot of things from the Bucs, from Bucs Report, from some of our own analysts on our own show. So if you ever miss something, it's always there. You can check it out there. Plus my content's up there as well. Still working on some interviews that I have, in progress that are going to be coming. That should be coming down the pipeline. Might have to take this next Wednesday off. I'm trying to, speed up one of these processes, but it is a process to get them. So hopefully I will be on the media calls going forward. So we'll have that, information, if there's any interviews with players. Last week was Coach Arians, any players or anything like that, Bucs Report will be there representing, and we'll be able to get that content to you as soon as possible. And then still working on some articles. Been a hectic week over here. I want to apologize about my kids in the background of that first video. We're in COVID. Todd Bowles' kids jumped on his.
Talking about they're your. Come on.
I know, but I just wanted to put that disclaimer out there.
Bowles' son come and interview not interview, but interrupt his Zoom meeting. Alan, it's all right. It's okay. Good stuff here. You're a perfectionist. I like that. That's why you're part of the Bucs Report family. Thanks a lot for your time here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. All right.
Absolutely. Have a good night, Peter. Have a good night, everybody. See you on Friday.
Give that family some love. All right.
Will do.
All right. Good stuff there. Never apologize for your kids. They're your kids. Goodness gracious. Let's keep sports in perspective, shall we? All right. We're running a little bit too late tonight, so I am so sorry to Alex Fleming of Fantasy and Flavors. Welcome to the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend. How you doing tonight?
Thank you for having me. I'm good.
Absolutely. There's something on your mind. It seems like you've got something you want to get off your chest.
It's funny because the dude hit me up earlier and was like, we don't want any controversial topics. People come to the sports web to get away from all the nonsense that's regular in the day. And I'm happy to say I didn't have to say a word. It seems like some of your fan base has something to say about what's going on in America today.
And we have no problem with that. No problem with that at all here on the sports web. So I know you wanted to talk about Jameis Winston, and I also know you wanted to talk about Dalvin Cook. I like Dalvin Cook, but let me just explain this situation. It looks like Mr. Cook is going to hold out for more money. Is he right or is he wrong? And are the Vikings right for not necessarily giving him his contract demands?
I feel sorry for Dalvin. I do, because, look, I love Dalvin Cook. I was a fan of his at Florida State. I was mad when he went down with injuries year 1 and year 2, but that's the problem. He went down with injuries year 1 and year 2. Now, if he would have pulled an Alvin Kamara or Ezekiel Elliott, or dare I compare him to Christian McCaffrey, him wanting his money, I'd been like, yes, pay that man his money. But I can't do that because his backup, Alexander Mattison, actually averaged 0.1 yards more than he does.
Wow.
Dalvin Cook averages 4.5 yards a carry. Alexander Mattison in his short time averages 4.6. Alexander Mattison, even though he is the backup, doesn't have injury issues. Dalvin Cook missed year 1 and year 2 and didn't play a full season last year. Now, I don't want to be a running back only getting paid $1.5 million. I feel him. I'm not against him, but I'm not throwing him a bag. And reports say that he wanted 15 mil. Bruh.
No.
Bruh.
You're not getting Christian McCaffrey money, not with these statistics. 2017, 74 carries, 354, 4.8 yards a carry, 2 touchdowns. That was an injury-shortened season. 2018, another injury-shortened season, 133 for 615, 2 touchdowns. And, of course, the breakout, 2019, 250 carries, 1,135 yards, 13 touchdowns. He's only played 29 out of 48 games. I love Cook. In fact, I said that I felt like Cook should have been the pick over O.J. Howard. When he's healthy, he's effective, but the problem is he's not healthy. And if you want Christian McCaffrey money, you're most likely not going to get it because he doesn't have the receptions like McCaffrey. And on top of it, you look at running backs around the league right now, they're not high-priced value. Le'Veon Bell comes to mind. Todd Gurley comes to mind. Running backs don't get those big-time contracts just because of what we talked about with Gurley and Le'Veon Bell. Sorry to say.
Gurley deserved his money. He was there when the Rams were pathetic, awful. And he was one of the reasons where they were multidimensional. Now, think about it. The Rams still owe him a paycheck.
But it's a cautionary tale. But isn't a cautionary tale? You're not going to overpay. You're not going to pay a running back that type of money. I mean, you're just not going to. And I get it. And look, the Vikings may be able to franchise tag him, and it may be $10 to $12 million next year. They can go ahead and do that. But at the end of the day, Alex, are you really going to give a running back a long-term deal when knowing that basically in a couple years, they're going to basically be a free agent or be cut?
I could have swore we had a conversation about this not too long ago back in the day. Here's the problem I have with the NFL and how they treat running backs. Okay, peak game. You get them on a 4-year deal coming out, or if they're a top pick, you get them for 5 years, so you give them a little bit of the bag. All right, so they're frustrated. They want money. You franchise tag them. So now instead of having them for 4 or 5 years, you have them for 6 years. Now, they're towards the end of their career because any real good running back is good for 10 to 12 years. You just got them for 6 years. So by the time they're eligible for their first actual bag, unless they're a franchise player, you shoe fly, don't bother me. You're going to have to go somewhere and get your money in free agency. And it's wrong because tackles, centers, guards, wide receivers, tight ends, and especially quarterbacks all get their money by the end of their first contracts. Why does the NFL feel the need to just use and abuse like an Amsterdam prostitute running backs?
I don't know what to say after that comparison. It just comes down to this, right, Alex? And we're on with Alex Fleming of Fantasy and Flavors. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th round running backs have been very successful. You're looking at that. You feel like you can replace a high-priced running back with somebody in the later rounds. I think that's what you're looking at. I tell you what, let's go out to the webheads here. You want to go and talk to these guys? Because we haven't really talked to them that much tonight. You cool with that? And we'll also take some calls. I got a new phone line for you, Alex Fleming. Not that loud Skype line where you used to get very infuriated and very mad when it interrupted you. We've got a phone line now where they can actually hear you. You can hear them, and it's not a loud ring. All right, let's go out to the webheads here, read what they have to say. Since we're talking former Bucs comments, let's talk about G-Mac saying he's pulling for the Bucs unless they're playing the Cowboys, not the Texans, the Cowboys. Good stuff, Johnny Dean. Why wouldn't he have said, why wouldn't he have been so positive when he went to the Carolina Panthers? What are your thoughts on Gerald McCoy's comments? I mean, paraphrasing, I don't know. I read the comments. I didn't write them down, but, paraphrasing, I'm a big Buccaneer fan, want to see them do well, but when they play the Cowboys in the playoffs, we're going to beat them.
All right. Gerald McCoy was a franchise player. Gerald McCoy played his heart out until the last couple of years that he was here. And he might feel a little bit scorned at the fact that, he didn't stick around and finish his career as a Buccaneer. You think he wanted to go to Carolina? You really think he wanted to go to Carolina? He had his whole Batman persona here in Tampa Bay. I mean, I remember him as a rookie. No music. I mean, for real, he wanted to stay in Tampa, and he feels a little bit betrayed, and I don't blame him. He's absolutely right about the Cowboys, though. Cowboys, Johnny B, not Texas. Cowboys. If you think the Cowboys aren't stacked this year, oh my goodness, and a very, very angry Dak. Very angry Dak. He's going to be fantasy gold this year.
Is he going to even play this year? Is he going to hold out?
I think he's going to sign the franchise tender because, I mean, let's not get it twisted. This man's been playing for 4 years for what? A total of $3.5 million. I mean, wow, that's highway robbery, bro. That goes back to that Amsterdam comment that I was telling you about. Yeah, he's been getting robbed. So for all those haters who say that he's not worth 30 or 35 million, one, that's the quarterback market. Two, this man has more wins than any other quarterback other than Tom Brady. So don't give me that mess that he's not worth the bag. Three, do you really trust that franchise under Andy Dalton? Andy Dalton, who took the Cincinnati Bengals to the playoffs, but never won a playoff game. I mean, really? Do you really?
No.
Do you really?
I don't.
No.
I don't.
So, hey, look, Dak knows he got him by the good and friendlies. They need to pay that man.
All right. Let's see. Best virtual edits video. He had drills to help take down his interceptions. He said it took 2 days to get over the Bucs. Bucs wouldn't have signed him if they thought they couldn't win with him. I think they're talking about Winston. Peyton Manning couldn't throw the ball 65 yards and still won. Not worried about Brady at all. He knows how to adjust. Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy. Hey, it's the 2020 Major League Baseball draft live on ESPN. Anybody? Yeah. Not so much either. All right. Maybe Lawrence Tynes will be available. Gabe says, nope, I don't give a stuff about Major League Baseball unless OKC gets a team. Not happening, Gabe.
Not happening.
Let's see here. Ozzie sings Turn the Page. The Rays are drafting right now. Is Ozzie the dude? He's not. Since we're talking, okay, we read that. The dude abides. He's in the lobby right now, so we'll get him on in a little bit. Ozzie is definitely the dude as he sips his adult beverage. If he was really Tampa Bay's defense that won the Super Bowl for us, not the offense, I think they were talking. Bruce Arians said he would quarantine a quarterback if he needs to. The tight end position killed the fullback carrying the ball. Alstott was fun to watch, but no, he's not a Hall of Famer, not even close. He was a novelty act for the Bucs. Nothing wrong with that, but it is what it is. You guys seen what Gronk did? We did. We didn't report on that, but we will on Friday. I'll get the video for you. His touchdowns and yardage is among the top quarterback stat-wise, but to say Jameis is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL is too much. The turnovers keep Jameis from being a top 10 quarterback in the league. We'll get back to that moment. I want to read all these comments. I know you want to talk Jameis Winston. Okay, the stadium might be closed for fans, but the sports bars will be packed on Sunday, and that goes for the Tampa Bay Lightning as well. Big watch parties. Good stuff, Michael, absolutely. If the dude was here, the combination of him and Ozzie would make me die laughing. Ozzie, I know the real you. Asthmatic means they can carry and spread the virus without actually having it themselves. Philip Schwagler, we need to start a GoFundMe for Leo so he can get better Wi-Fi and a USB camera. We'll work on that, Philip Schwagler. What's up, Peter? I'm off work. Good stuff. Rashay Caldwell is from Tampa, West Tampa. He's a great person. He was helping the youth down here, too. Very shame. It's a shame what happened with him. And I don't want to say he's a kid because he's 41. But, Peter, I don't like it for the undrafted rookies because you still want to see game film. Gabe, basically preseason football is the 2016 version of Ghostbusters. Doesn't look good and wasn't very exciting watching. Good stuff, Gabe. I agree with that. I heard he was coming on a bit later. He is. Colin K was a backup quarterback at the end. Name a backup quarterback that anyone would want after being gone for 4 years. That's a good point. Ozzie is the dude, Gabe. He is not. It's the voice. It's not. The dude and Ozzie are the same show together would be a blast. We'll have to do that one these days. Johnny, Ozzie is the dude. No, he's not. He's not. He's not the dude. We know who the dude is. Best virtual edits video. I know the dude very well, and he's not the dude. Gabe, you're wrong, my guy. He's not doing what it's called. He's standing up for human rights. I might need to get on this call. All right. And again, the phone line is open if you want to call and talk to Alex Fleming of Fantasy and Flavors, have any questions, comments, or you want to debate. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. It's the...
Y'all don't want the smoke tonight. Don't do it.
Look out.
Don't do it.
Gabe, I'm sorry, but they're more than athletes. Lap my ass off, Ozzie rules. Gabe says, what WTF are you doing, Ozzie? XDDD. Absolutely, he will. Joe says, I will not watch at all if they start that stuff again. Righteous Peter Blake. I'll be standing in my living room. Prank caller. I don't think so. Dimwitty where? I don't know. I think it was Virginia. I'm too busy looking for snacks. OzzieTheSportsJunkie.com. Joshua Cole Allen is killing it. Cornerback for the Texans, former Patriot cornerback. That was good stuff. Awesome. Gronk, the GOAT. Keon killed it in an interview. Joshua Cole Allen, I know him. You do. Great job again, Josh. We're giving Josh love. He's already out of here. Great job as always, babe. I think that's his wife. Your mom thinks you're awesome. It's a family affair here on the Sports Web. Love it. I should have read these comments when he was in here. I feel bad. Great interview, Josh. Johnny Dean, great interview. Love it when the guest likes to talk. That guy, Joshua Cole Allen, smooth. We got to get you a fan base here. I know we got you a fan base, Alex Fleming. A great interviewer, gets his guests to talk. Okay, the guy, Joshua Cole Allen, smush. Joshua Cole Allen, brought to you by Polo. Brady or someone like Evans or something to interview. We're working on it here, Christopher Cole. You guys are so spoiled, but I love it. Joshua is definitely the hardest working man on BR. Well, he's definitely hard.
No comment.
I know this guy. The man is a legend. Alex Fleming, bring that knowledge. Alex, the man, the myth, the legend. How are you, my brother? How you doing tonight?
I'm good, Mr. Pompa. Thank you.
Alex, the Black Magic Fleming. Good thing we don't have a top-tier running back that we have to worry about paying him or holding out. Blessing in disguise. You the man, Peter. Appreciate you, Blake Anthony. Top-tier running backs ruin teams. I'm not sure they ruin teams.
Disagree. Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, well, he's been a top-tier running back, but he's a freak. I mean, how many Adrian Petersons do you have in the league, Alex?
Once a generation.
Very, very true. Rookie running backs are the way to go. Tried and tested. Dalvin Cook, Albany, complained because he was getting paid for not playing for most of his career. He should make a deal with the Vikings in a performance-based contract. If he performs within the time frame, then break him off. Alex is bringing it as he always does, and we'll keep him on as long as he wants to stay on because running backs are disposable. Look at the Chargers. Absolutely. Does Gronk make a huge comeback this year in the Bay? Most likely
No.
You don't think so? I think he could.
With all the offensive weapons that Tampa has, he's going to get a touchdown here and there, but he's not fantasy gold. Plus, I think Cameron Brate is going to be that security blanket in the red zone. I really, truly do.
I think O.J. Howard could have a breakout year, but I still think Gronk is going to make an impact. I said Texans. Sorry, I meant Dallas Dollhouse. Goodness gracious, my guy Fleming there. Rodney just tuned in. A-Train as the GOAT. Does Winston stay in NOLA after this year? We'll see. He has the opportunity to do that, and I know Alex wants to talk about it. We will. Cook has to earn it this year, show he can stay healthy. I think the Vikings will ride with Matson before paying him $15 million. One breakout year isn't enough for that. Bell and Gurley at least could back it up with consistent play over the few years.
Well said.
The Chargers are a playoff team with Tyrod Taylor. No, they're not, because Alex is losing wings again. They're not. Great interview. Best virtual edits video. Fleming, I need my wings. Oh, my God. Will you stop it? Best virtual edits video, trying to go on my coattails like a Scottie Pippen. I am Alex Fleming fan. Okay. Alex Fleming for 2020. And that's it. All right. let's bring in the dude, and then we will see what you have to say about Jameis Winston and everybody else. Welcome to the dude here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. What's on your mind, boss?
New number, who dis?
Exactly.
But seriously, I just got back from mailing Leo Haggerty another compact disc of the America Online free sample. So he should be up and ready for next week. Alex Fleming, my man. Great intro, but you left a little piece out, sir. We didn't really want to get into the political, social issues tonight. So I think we are going to have a place and time that we can do that. Is that correct, Alex?
I wasn't going to spill the beans, but you know what? You're right. The dude hit me up at work. My boss tried to say get off the phone, and the dude said shut up before I smack you. So my boss backed up. But the dude said that there's going to be a place and time for politics and sports. Apparently, Saturday morning at 10 a.m., there's going to be the show called Turf Talk with Alex Fleming.
Wow.
See, and that's exactly what. Hey! Before we go any farther, I forgot to do the most important part here was let's do the rundown. Leo Haggerty. Every time you're on, man, it's like watching the movie Up. It's just refreshing and uplifting. Ozzie, the sports junkie. Man, if this guy doesn't have the best tan coming out of a pandemic of any person in Florida, I don't know who does. Not only that, he can bring the hot take. But let me tell you something, Peter. And wait a minute. Far out, I just noticed my picture's on the screen. Hey, what's up, dude? Okay. Tonight, the way you guys have handled the show, the way everybody's been handling this crazy off season. I mean, the world, everything is conspiring to everything it can, it seems like, with the pandemic to halt the Buccaneers and the momentum of the Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski and all that. But then we get into something, if you can believe it, more serious than a pandemic. And it was. And that's what we did. And what we've done here is try to talk about it, address the issue, but also listen to what other people have to say about it, because that's the problem. You can go on social media, you can go on any news channel, any talk show, and all anybody is doing is talking. No one appears to be listening. So we like to listen to what the people have to say about these issues. As for all the other stuff, I mean, it's a crazy world we live in here, but we do have a place that we can all gather and talk, take a minute, take a moment away from the rigors of everyday life and talk about craziness, be silly. I mean, we've all watched the news feed for the last couple weeks, if not couple months, and the news and everything's serious. Well, you can come here and get on a sports talk show, the Evolution, so to speak, and talk to a guy named Ozzie. A guy named Ozzie. How many people know a guy named Ozzie? Raise their hand. All right, I can't see you, but you get the point. Alex Fleming always brings the knowledge. Alex Fleming also knows exactly when and what and how to say what he needs to say. So I strongly urge everybody to tune in Saturday morning. Alex is going to put everything in perspective from his point of view. And let's be honest, his point of view comes with a lot more knowledge than most of ours. That said, Joshua Allen, I almost want to call him the boy in the box because of these interviews from the closet. Oh, I'm sorry, the studio. But that seems disrespectful. So I'm going to say the man in the room. But right now, Joshua, he's hot. Had some good stuff. We pulled off the Carlton Davis Zoom conference today. That was great. But let's give an overall congratulations and thank you and show of appreciation for everybody out there that follows us. A couple people I want to address, and then I'll let you guys go. Best virtual edits. No, brother. The dude is not Ozzie. The dude listens to Ozzie. The dude has held a lighter up at a concert chanting Ozzie, but the dude is not Ozzie. Who is the dude? All you really need to know is that the dude abides. That said, great show, Peter. If anybody out there has any questions, concerns, or compliments, Peter and Alex can handle that for you.
Absolutely.
With that said, as you can hear, my drink's a little low. I need a beverage. Everybody stay safe, be smart, and most of all, man, open up your mind, open up your ears, open up your heart, and just be kind to each other. Except for the Buccaneers on Sunday, because when you're playing, we need you to rip the heads off those guys. But that's another story for another time. Shout out to everybody listening. Shout out to Life's a Beach Realty, anybody that's ever helped us along the way. And by the way, Peter.
Yeah. Yes.
Great job, sir.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. As always, the dude abides here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Somebody has the best text of the night. I have to go to this one from David Moser. Mr. Fleming always kills it. Somebody needs to give him an adult beverage. Absolutely, he kills it. So, Jameis Winston. Some comments here. I don't think they're controversial. I get what he's saying. You know, people look at his record with the Bucs, 28-42, but he has won at every level. He has this great opportunity to back up Drew Brees and learn from Sean Payton and possibly resurrect his career. Of course, cut down on the turnovers. Do you really have a problem with what he said?
No. And as a matter of fact, I'm not going to say he was right, but there is statistical data to back it up. Now, I can't defend the interceptions. If all they're going to do is say, but what about the interceptions? What about it? I can't defend that. I won't defend that. However, in 5 years' time, missing 7 games, once again, I have to spit out these facts. 19,737 yards. That's more than Peyton Manning. Better yet, in 5 years' time, he's one of the first of only 7 quarterbacks to throw for 5,000 yards. You got Peyton Manning, you got Tom Brady, you got Matthew Stafford, who did it 1 year. Okay. You got Drew, who keeps continuing to do it, and then you got Jameis Winston. Oh, and Ben Roethlisberger. Let's not forget about Roethlisberger, because I know I got haters. See, I did forget. With that being said, 5 years, first contract. Do you really, really think that if Drew Brees goes down, they're going to give the keys to that Ferrari to Taysom Hill, who's a gadget player? Better yet, he's got his vision now. So you're telling me this guy threw for almost 20,000 yards blind? Imagine what he can do with LASIK and vision. Not this year. Don't expect anything this year. But next year, they already had the success of the Drew Brees, and his name is Jameis Winston. And he knows you guys because he used to play for us. So you know what? I think it's best if the Buccaneers handle their business this year, because the division is only going to get better. You got a rookie Derek Brown in Carolina. You got a refolding, re-imaging changes going on in Atlanta. I don't know what the hell they're doing. And you got the Saints that are just reloaded. They picked up 2 rookie linebackers. They signed Janoris Jenkins and Malcolm Jenkins. They're going to be good after Brees leaves. And by the way, Brees is still invited to the barbecue, but now he has to stay after everybody leaves, and he has to help clean up. All right? So don't get it twisted.
All right, good stuff, Alex. Swimming and Fantasy and Flavors. Let's go back out to the web heads here and read some of these comments. Let's see here. Where are we at? Right. Peter, I suggest you get a Snickers, sir. I didn't read that. Okay. All right. So I don't know why I need a Snickers, but okay. Boom. Turf Talk Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Be there. Absolutely laugh out loud. The dude, you may be kind to Ozzie, though, or Kinto. Yes, the dude abides. Possibly at best virtual edits video. All right, let's go back out to the phone lines. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
You may be kind to Ozzie, though. Or
You got to turn down your phone, whoever you are. Or I'm just going to call you back. How about this? I'm going to call you back. This is why I had it in the first place. Call my show and then don't turn down your phone.
We know you're there. Answer the phone, bro.
Oh, he's there. Well, I'm going to leave him a message. So
Never mind.
Hold on. No. We're gonna give him a message here. Did he chicken out?
He chickened out. He plugged out, bro.
Hold on. Let me see if he's got a message here. Hold on. It's fun on the sports web. Come on, get your answer.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. Please leave a message after the tone.
Oh, hey, how you doing? You called the sports web. You didn't turn down your radio, and now we're calling you back to let you know that next time you call the sports web, the evolution of Sports Talk Television, you've got to turn down your radio. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. All right, there you go. Enough of you. All right, that's what you get. What else, Alex Fleming?
All right, since we were talking about Jameis and we moved on to Dalvin Cook, free agents that haven't quite been signed. I'm just going to stick with the top three. I don't know where Devontae Freeman is going to end up, but I believe he wants to play football in 2020. I can only name a handful of teams that could even use his services. Because, I mean, let's think about it. You got 32 starting running backs, and only 2 of the 30 I could think of are actually garbage. You know, everybody's got a solid backfield. And with the changing times, you need a 2 running back system unless you got Zeke or Barkley or McCaffrey.
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So with that being said, I don't know too many people who are going to need his services. Jadeveon Clowney. You remember about a week or 2 ago when I said that there's only 3 teams that he's even looking for?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, New Orleans, Baltimore, and Buffalo. Wow. I expect him to stay in the AFC. I'm thinking Baltimore or Buffalo is going to be one of those 2 teams. If he lands in Baltimore or Buffalo, problems.
Yeah.
Straight problems. Because Baltimore is already ready to go. They're on that Kansas City level. That's the only team messing with Baltimore. And if he goes to Buffalo, they could be the fly in the ointment. They don't have Smurfs for wide receivers no more. Josh Allen's actually pretty good. Jake Fromm might get booted from the team, which leads me to the number 1 acquisition, Cam Newton. He's healthy. Now, I don't understand why. I'll just say his name and then I'll leave it alone. If Colin Kaepernick gets signed before Cam Newton does, I'm going to be a little upset. I'm going to be happy for Cap. I'm going to be upset for Cam because Cam, unlike Cap, has been in the league, been playing, been taking hits, and now is actually healthy. He needs to write his own redemption song, but he needs a team first to do it. I think Buffalo, if they get rid of the guy from State Farm, would actually be the perfect fit for Cam Newton.
I like it. There you go. Let's see here. I'm glad we are discussing Winston as a Saints fan. I was pissed when they let Teddy go. Alex taught me a lot about Winston. I'm thrilled that he is in NOLA. I really would like to see him get his interception problem taken care of. If he does, Hall of Fame quarterback, in my opinion. He's not ready to take over for Breeze. Winston could come in at any point and lead that team. Mike Pompa says, Brown. Hi, I'm not ready to take over for Breeze. I had a typo there. I know what you meant. Winston has really had a team around him. Hasn't really had a team around him in the last 4 years. Jameis' problem isn't vision, it's decision. Very good, Rick. Where do you think Everson Griffin goes, Alex?
Ooh, Everson Griffin. If he's looking for money, he needs to go out west. If he's looking for a ring or a chance at it, I think Everson Griffin should probably go to Tennessee. Jarrell Casey left Tennessee and went to Denver, and I don't think they've actually really addressed that issue. Simmons was a rookie last year, but he got pushed around a little bit. You remember, Fergs, when I was mentioning that, pushing around Simmons and all that? Yeah. Everson Griffin would be an excellent fit for the Tennessee Titans. I don't want to see Everson Griffin in Baltimore. Hail to the no. They already got Calais Campbell and more than enough weapons. No. I'd like to see him somewhere in the AFC South or the AFC West. Actually, an excellent spot for Everson Griffin, believe it or not, the Los Angeles Chargers, because Melvin Ingram and Bosa are excellent as pass rushers. But that middle, it's a little bit soft. I'm not going to say they soft, but I mean, Everson Griffin would definitely be an upgrade.
Absolutely. Definitely an upgrade. You're exactly right with that rotation. We're getting some feedback there. Is that on your end there? Anyway, yeah, well, I mean, to me, that would definitely make sense. And I tell you right now, Jadeveon Clowney going to Tennessee to absolutely be a miserable force versus Houston and play them twice a year seems like that would make sense for me to get them back. I'm just saying. All right, Alex, forget Henry. Great. My phone went back with garbage. Alex, you're very funny, says best virtual edits video. Sam Wing says, Alex and best virtual edits video. I need some Jordan. What do I look like? GoFundMe? I mean, come on now. What is this, a GoFundMe show where you ask me for wings and shoes? I mean, I love you, best virtual edits video, even though you got the longest name in, mankind on YouTube. But, yeah, man, I'm not going to fork over wings, and I'm definitely not forking over Jordan. So, all right, buddy. So what do we think about Warren Moon's comments about Brady losing his arm strength?
I think if anybody would know, it would be Warren Moon. Warren Moon didn't get the fair treatment that he deserved, so he had to do his thing in the CFL. Imagine Warren Moon's numbers if he started his career in the NFL. Now, Warren played till his mid-40s.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if anybody would know about arm strength and durability, I'm going to listen to Warren Moon. You know, he's kind of got the stripes, believe it or not. Now, I mentioned this earlier this year after the Super Bowl. Before Brady got here, Jameis Winston threw the ball deep 83 times.
Mm-hmm.
With the New England Patriots, I believe Brady went deep only 56 times. With this type of offense, you are going to have to throw deep. Tyler Johnson is going to be open 9 times out of 10 because all of this coverage is going to go towards Evans, Godwin, Gronk, and have 4 or 5 in the box just to stop the running game. This offense is going to be potent. Why are you going to settle for 10 or 15 yards when you can go 30 or 40, bro? This is going to be a strike-fast offense. If we can get a running game going, we're going to be able to keep defenses off balance because if we go no huddle, they won't be able to substitute in and out. That's going to lead to fatigue. If you do substitute with all the packages that we have, whether we go ace formation, ISO, shotgun, or twins, because we have 4 wide receivers to do, though, or we can split Gronk out, you don't have enough personnel to keep up.
All right, Alex, let's go off to the phone lines here. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. What's your name? Where are you calling from? I can't hear you, sir. Go ahead.
Me, Gabe. Again.
Gabe?
Yes.
All right, go ahead, bud.
I heard you were selling wings and shoes.
No, I'm not selling wings and shoes. No, what do you want from me?
I'm not virtual edit video, by the way. I'm just saying that just post on you.
Okay. Anything else, Gabe?
All right.
All right. Short and sweet. Okay, Gabe wanted to poke some fun at me. You can do that here on the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Fantasy and Flavor Zone, Mr. Alex Fleming. I'm not giving away wings. I'm owed wings. He will get them to me. I'm just going to mention it until he does. And then I'm not giving you Jordans tonight. I'm sorry. I'm not. This is, this is not UNICEF. All right. That's from a movie. And if you know what it's from, you're cool. Just go.
I did have some side notes about who I see digressing in the NFL.
Okay.
People seem to realize, or they fail to realize, that each and every year we have 2 new participants in the dance. Mm-hmm. Now you get the 3 or 4 that are sticklers that are there from the last year or the year before, but you always get 2 new teams. This year, we have 7 teams instead of 6. So that means we're going to get at least 2, if not 3, new additions. Now, Tennessee made the playoffs last year. Kansas City, Baltimore, they're regulars. We already know what's up. And then you got somebody in the AFC East, and I'm thinking that's going to be Buffalo. This year, we're going to have 2 or 3 new teams that are going to make the roll. I see the Tennessee Titans taking over in the AFC South. I already gave you reasons why, but I don't trust Phillip Rivers. Jacksonville needs to go to London. And do you trust Bill O'Brien? I damn sure don't. Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
No.
With that being said, there's an opening for a second or third team from another division. AFC North, Pittsburgh, Cleveland. I like Pittsburgh, but for some reason I'm leaning on Cleveland just because of schedule and matchups. On paper, they look like champions, but then again, they're paper champions. I believe if they don't get something done, they might be looking for a quarterback because Baker Mayfield, the Johnny football wannabe, he hasn't lived up to expectations. He really, really hasn't. He's got more commercials than he has victories.
I've heard him talk. They had NFL Rewind.
Just being real.
And they had him saying, oh, I was a part of the longest run in history. I could tell my grandkids that I handed it off to Nick Chubb. He had nothing to do with it. He just handed the ball to him. I swear, he is that Johnny Manziel type of character to me, in my opinion. All right, let's go back out to the webheads. Another awesome show, Peter. Will it be 3 hours? Time will tell. We'll see. Warren Moon played 44 till he's 44 years old. Best virtual edits video. You're never giving me nothing. I can't even get a Snickers or Snickers from you, Peter. Well, you know, I give you content. I give you an opportunity to call in. Uncle D, with one of the longest comments I've ever seen on this show. Gotta love a family affair. I must say, you, Peter H. Blake, are really blessed to have knowledgeable characters of the game that have talked so much about. Joshua Allen did a really good job with the interview. I must say, Keon Crossan is just a wonderful young man for doing what he's doing for the Lord, is a great servant, and just hope that there are some Christians on the Buccaneers team serving our great Lord, because maybe they will be having some Bible study as well to ask the Lord for salvation, I guess, because he said the S word. I'm thinking that's what it is. Gabe, look at Peter rocking the Gatorade. Share some love. I know Alex throwing down on the grill. I need some steak. You know, Bet's virtual edits video. You're very clingy. That's what I get from you, buddy. You're very old.
He'll be back. He's frozen.
You're very not so good. Well, we're back. That happens sometimes. Winston is going to be a Brown next season, and a phone hung up itself. Crap. All right. So we're talked all about that. What else is on your mind tonight, Alex Fleming?
I didn't want to get controversial. Do you want to get controversial? I mean, I'm trying to keep it clean here.
I want you just to save that.
I'm trying to keep it clean.
Just save it for Saturday morning at 10 o'clock, all right? Do that. We'll do that.
I can do that. I can do that.
All right.
One last thing.
Okay.
Washington Redskins, and I'm keeping it clean.
Yes.
Look for there to be a running back battle in Washington. Darius Geis can't stay healthy, and Adrian Peterson has been the workhorse. He's aiming to get 1,000 yards this year. Antonio Gibson, the Swiss Army knife, the calm like a bomb. The man out of Memphis, look for him to line up at wide receiver, slot, and running back. He is going to be a problem. He's a Christian McCaffrey 2.0. With the swarming defense that the Washington Redskins will implement under Ron Rivera, no playoffs, but they're going to upset some people this year. Keep your eyes on Washington. They're not lying down for anybody this year.
All right. Michael Scott says, repeat those people who are worried about Jameis Winston getting to beat the Bucs when Drew Brees gets injured, then Jameis Winston could have a shot. But even still, then Jameis Winston is a second-string quarterback. Not even that. I'm not saying Jameis Winston can't go on and do great things, but he already had all his chances with the Buccaneers. We kept him for 5 years. He didn't prove us that he was a number one caliber quarterback in the NFL. He was an overrated quarterback. I get Jameis Winston had 3 or 4, like 2 coaches in his NFL career, but Bruce Arians had some of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, made them as good as well with the system. Good luck, Jameis. But if you ever do end up playing this year against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we're going to destroy you and the Saints. And Michael Scott has a question for you. My question for Alex Fleming, do you honestly think that if Drew Brees were to get injured and Jameis Winston were to start for the Saints, do you think they could put some fear in the box now? I think they could possibly play a kind of decent against us because of their weapons. But if he turns the ball over to Tom Brady, he most likely is going to get humiliated. What do you think, Alex? Also, I play Madden football. Do you? So he's looking for Madden competition. I play Madden football, maybe not so well, but we'll see what happens in the future with Bucs Report for that. But do you think that Jameis Winston has a chance to start, or is it Taysom Hill's job to lose?
Jameis Winston would definitely be going in if Drew Brees were to go down. Jameis Winston is 26. He's younger than Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill's about to turn 30. Drew Brees is 38, about to turn 39, and not that mobile. They could run a single back offense with the flex, whether it be fullback or tight end. That's where Trotman comes in, with a 2 wide receiver system, because that's what they do anyway. Can't guard Mike. You know what's coming. You can't stop him. If Jameis Winston was in, I could see them being a more up-tempo offense because Winston's more mobile. And we all know that Winston can sling it. We all do. That's something, whether you love him or hate him, you can't deny it. That man can throw the football. With Trotman, Cook, double tight end set to enforce the fact that they have one of the best offensive lines, so he doesn't have to worry about pressure, Tampa. And with Alvin Kamara having a bounce-back year, you know that Alvin Kamara averaged 81 receptions for 2 years in a row? And he had a down year last year with only 6 touchdowns, 5 rushing, and 1 receiving. Look for him to be fantasy gold this year. I expect him to have about 12 to 1,300 yards rushing, about 400 yards receiving, and 10 touchdowns.
10 touchdowns.
But that's just me.
Well, I had him on my fantasy team last year. He was very disappointing. All right, I'm just saying. So Dwayne Beatty says, Michael D. So Joshua Allen, you're doing a great job with your interviews. So we have Alex Fleming on right now, Uncle D. I don't know what you're watching. Again, I must say you're really looking sharp with your new look. So please tip your barber well because he or she should know what they're doing. Okay, thank you. Alex, who is better, Miami or Cincinnati? I think Miami may have the advantage because of the division, but it depends on the Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and Baltimore. I think Joe Burrow will develop fairly quick, but the question is, can defense help him out? I'd like to draft a T. Higgins to help out Burrow. I'll tell you what, we'll get back to that in a moment. Let's go out to the phone lines. Welcome to the evolution of sports talk television, Johnny Dean, the professor.
Johnny.
I got a question for Alex. I've heard Alex talk so much about fantasy gold. What does he consider fantasy platinum or titanium?
Fantasy platinum, Ezekiel Elliott, Kyler Murray, Christian McCaffrey. That's obvious.
Okay,
that's obvious. Michael Thomas, Julio Jones, DeAndre Hopkins in this system is going to be better than what he was in Houston. Johnny Dean, do you play IDP defense?
Yeah, I play fantasy. Derrick Henry would be platinum to me or titanium.
Derrick Henry's gold. He's not titanium. You got to think, before last year when he had 1,500 yards, he barely was a 1,000-yard rusher. So, Scooby-Doo.
Where are you?
Tight end, Kittle, Kelsey, Andrews, and Ertz is slipping. He's becoming gold-silver. But those are your tight ends that you want. If you can't settle for those 4, there's always Darren Waller. And my sleeper this year, Hayden Hurst and Tyler Higbee.
Nice.
I look at the system when I'm picking that too. And I knew last year that Henry was going to get the bell cow of the carries because of the quarterback that they had. And I expect pretty much the same thing this year. I just don't want to see him overused. You know what I'm talking about. It happens all the time. You see a running back that can bear the load, and then they just pile it on them, and then they're out of the league for 2 years.
Well, Johnny, you're a very knowledgeable man. You know that Ryan Tannehill was a former wide receiver at Texas A&M before he was converted to a quarterback. He needed at least 1 year to get comfortable in the Tennessee Titans system because he replaced some garbage in Marcus Mariota. They didn't give a fifth-year option to Corey Davis, so he's going to have to prove himself. And A.J. Brown, I've been telling cats about A.J. Brown last year, but people didn't want to hear me. Hell, Peter will let you know. People were laughing at me. They're not laughing anymore. The tight end position is actually going to help out A.J. Brown and Corey Davis. I expect A.J. Brown to be another 1,000-yard receiver, Corey Davis to be about 9, maybe 1,000. Henry is going to be fantasy gold because they're going to have to be honest with him. If they can get a passing game going to where you only have 6 or 7 in the box with the offensive line that they have, especially with that mercenary Isaiah Wilson, look for Henry to be a beast.
All right, good stuff.
Yeah, true. Hey, guys.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. There you go. Open phone line 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Bush.
Come on. That's what I'm saying. Come on.
Absolutely. Bring the question. So, Miami or Cincinnati? Who's the better team at this point? Is it Cincinnati or is it Miami?
Miami, and I'll give you 2 reasons why.
Okay.
Cincinnati is going to get beat up this year. Joe Burrow, rookie quarterback. Baltimore, Pittsburgh, the return of Big Ben, and Cleveland. Cleveland on paper looks great. They have 2 of the best wide receivers to complement each other. They're not Evans and Godwin, but Landry and Beckham, they're good. Pittsburgh, Big Ben. All that man did was throw touchdowns and yards. He's back, he's healthy, and he's got a new toy in Chase Claypool. Deontay Johnson is the true number 1, and Juju needs to prove that he can beat one-on-one coverage as a number 1, but he's actually number 2. They need to put him in the slot. That's where he's truly at. Have you seen James Conner? He's been beefing up in the offseason, bro.
I hope it's not illegally. By illegally methods, his back is huge.
Well, you got to think he beat cancer. I think he's 100% legit. And are we sleeping on Pittsburgh's defense? I mean, really, they had one of the top defenses last year, Minkah Fitzpatrick and all that. And think about it. They don't have Ryan Shazier. If they had Shazier, would we even be talking about Baltimore? Probably not. But now we're talking about Baltimore too. Guys, sleeper. If you're playing fantasy, dynasty, or keeper league, Bronson Lichtensteiner. He's the son of Rick Steiner. He went to a small school, 6 foot, 230 pounds, runs a 4.48 40. What?
Yeah.
Pick him up in a keeper and dynasty league, stash him. Expect nothing from him until about week 12, week 13. You can thank me later.
What's his name again?
Bronson Lichtensteiner.
There you go. And that is and I'm trying to think of his name right now, but that's Rick Steiner, the dog-faced Gremlins kid. There you go. Good stuff. You get wrestling on here too. Joe Burrow will be running for his life in that black and blue division.
Yes, he will.
Gabe says, if my phone hung up and itself up, decided to be stupid again. I'll ask my question here. Not much of a question, but a bold but stupid prediction. Gabe, you're never stupid. Bucs and Ravens will play in Super Bowl 55. It won't be a shootout. It will be a defensive slugfest with a couple of offensive touchdowns. Todd Bowles will find out how to limit Lamar, and the Ravens will figure out how to limit Evans, Godwin, and Gronk in the end. I predict the score to be 21-20 with Tampa Bay giving Tom his 7th Super Bowl, exactly like his first. So that's Gabe. Let's see. Jay Arroyo, laugh out loud. I don't know if Matt Gay can win, and I don't trust him. Matt Gay, is that on the biggest questions on the team? Even Coach Arians mentioned this in his press conference last week, that he felt like special teams could take a hit because of the 400 missed reps, not only rookies, but also special teams. Do you feel the same way?
Bro, how many times were we at Ferg's and we just looked disgusted because of missed kicks? For those, I'm speaking to the Winston haters. I want to talk to the Winston haters right now. Do you blame Jameis Winston for the loss in Seattle? Because I damn sure don't, because he played magnificently. Do you blame Jameis Winston for the loss against the Giants? That loss hurt me because he played great. And Matt Gay, not once, but twice, missed the field goal that he should have hit. Do you blame Jameis Winston against Tennessee? Because not only did we get screwed on a bad call, but we win that game if we hit a kick. Now, Atlanta, I can't forgive the pick six, but if Matt Gay hits 1, 2, or 3 of his field goal attempts, we're not going to overtime. So no, I don't trust Matt Gay. As a matter of fact, Matt Gay. Had to edit myself on that.
No, stop it. So Alex Fleming, as I said before, does a very good job. He's a class act with all the things he brings to the sports web. So really great job, Peter H. Blake. Was having some of the best on the sports web show. Thank you, Uncle D. That's what we try to bring here on Bucs Report. I can't watch kickers at Ray J. I don't think there's a lot of people can. Michael Smith wants to chime in here. Let's see what he has to say. Boy, he writes a lot. Let's see. Okay. Hey, Peter, I'm blind. I only see shadows and light perception. Laugh out loud. So if I can play the Madden game, you damn sure can love you, bro. I love Jameis Winston, too. I've always respected Jameis. I just believe he can do something in the long run, but not whatever it was with the Buccaneers. I just think the Buccaneers will beat the Saints with Jameis Winston because the Bucs are better without Jameis. I think that's what he's saying. And you know what's funny, Peter? I sometimes pick the Kansas City Chiefs or the Baltimore Ravens. Yes, I play with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but I play with those teams because a lot of people think I'm going to run the quarterback, or if people pick the Chiefs or the Rams, they run the quarterback. But with me being blind and then honestly don't know unless I tell them, that's how I beat them with Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes, because I don't run the quarterback and people expect me to throw it and play defense. Tell Alex if he wants to play me on Madden, or if you do, Peter, my game tag is Blind Mike 89. I have Xbox One. Also, Peter, about the Buccaneers running game, I tell everybody that says they will be great without a running game. Well, the thing is, we got Rob Gronkowski, O.J. Howard to block, right along with Tristan Wirfs. We're on the offensive line. People act like we need a running back, but as long as you got a running back that can run the ball and physically knows how to run the ball, then you will be successful, I believe, because of the way the Bucs are built this year and the way they ran Ronald Jones was not successful. I think this running game is going to be really good. It's underrated right now. It's going to be really good. That's what it's going to lead to 11-5 or 12-4. And then he says also, I know I'm not a Jameis Winston hater. You can even ask Peter. I really praise Jameis Winston. I thought about Jameis Winston was going to win, or the Buccaneers were going to win a Super Bowl. That's the thing for me. I thought eventually Jameis could at least control his turnovers, but the team did not think so. So now we got Tom Brady. Alex, I do respect Jameis. I think Jameis will be another starting quarterback in the NFL once again. It's not over for Jameis. He will have something to say about it. It was a lot of our kicker. Let's see here. Don Allen, and so do I. Okay. Just went and grabbed Bronson. And Michael is the blind Madden wizard. And
yeah, I'm not playing Michael. Michael, I don't know you and I respect you, but for some odd reason, I think it'd be suicide to try to play you.
He's unpredictable. Obviously, he's telling us already. I'm one of those Madden players who feels sorry for the low-rated players, so I amped them up to 99 for no reason. Gabe, we know why you amped them up to 99, so you can beat other people and have an advantage. That's not because you feel sorry for them. Alex Fleming, anything else, buddy?
5 deadly venoms. That's what I'm considering this Tampa Bay Bucs offense. Shotgun, ace, twins, split back, and go. Shotgun, ace, twins, split back, go. They can beat you 5 different ways. They can spread it all over with the go. The split back, Ronald Jones, Keyshawn Vaughn, 1 tight end, wide receiver Godwin Evans. It works beautifully. Shotgun, 4 wide receivers or 3 wide receivers plus a tight end split out, 1 running back. Ace, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, running back. You can't stop that formation because you can go power or play action with that. 5 deadly venoms. And I think Arians has the recipe to make defenses just nauseous. It's going to be fun this year, and I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Gabe says, I can't use the online, Peter. XF. Of course you can't. You got to improve your Wi-Fi. Jay Arroyo says, Peter and Alex, thanks for the entertainment. Much love. Absolutely. And speaking of entertainment, or not much entertainment, we got a former kicker for the Florida State Seminoles, who was a former kicker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There's a Roberto Aguayo on the line. Is this true, Roberto? Are you on the line?
Did I hear somebody say you needed a kicker?
Not you.
And not you, buddy.
Hey, I have a great resume, but I want to say that kicking when there's a freaking pirate ship in the end zone firing cannons and people dressed with skulls on their face isn't easy. But anyway, are you guys hiring?
I kind of feel
a second round flop. I mean, you're not Sebastian Janikowski. You were a second round flop.
I kind of feel like this is not Roberto Aguayo. It sounds like the dude to me.
The dude is another guy.
All right, I'm done with.
I am a kicker.
Yeah.
I am a kicker, and it's hard to kick when there's cannons firing and everybody's yelling at you, and there's no war chant. It's just boom and boom, and Roberto sucks, and Aguayo's horrible.
Roberto, do you have Ray Finkel's number?
Ray Finkel can't hold Roberto Aguayo's laces.
What about Scott Norwood?
Okay? Scott Norwood is a saint and a god from heaven.
All right, Roberto Aguayo, get out of here. See you later. You're not a kicker in this league. Go away. Get out. All right, so let's go back out to the phone lines here, or the webheads. No effing way. Yep, laugh my ass off. You kind of look like Joe Rogan. Who does? Who looks like Joe Rogan? Who's that? Laugh my ass off. Like great value, Joe Rogan. Somebody's laughing from the south end zone. Laugh out loud. I don't know, but I hope it's not an issue this year. If it is, he's going to have competition with Elliott Fry, whoever the hell that is. We'll see what happens.
Elliott Fry, former kicker from Chicago. And I mean, I actually rooted for Gay last year, but after that whole New York incident, I was like, man, I don't know. Because remember, he was getting death threats.
Yeah.
And I wanted to for him, but I mean, bro. I mean, everybody was hopping on Winston saying it's Winston's fault, it's Winston's fault. And then we saw the New York game, and it was like, you can't blame Winston for this one. No.
Right.
There does need to be friendly competition in the kicking game.
Let's go back out to the phone lines. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's me, Gabe. I'm calling from my landline.
Okay, let's see how this works, Gabe. Go ahead.
All right, so I wanted to finish that statement I said on Facebook.
Yeah.
It got cut off at the end.
Okay.
I said that that it will be a defensive slugfest, and that will send Tom Brady off like we did for his first Super Bowl with a Matt Gay field goal. I know you two hate Matt Gay, but I think it's a solid kicker.
I didn't say I hated Matt Gay. I mean, I think there's a big-time question mark. Can he do it? And even BA mentioned this in his Zoom meeting that, he hit the rookie wall in November. So let's see what happens with this kicking competition. But I still believe that the Bucs organization has confidence in Matt Gay to kick for this team. Now he's got to stay on the field.
Peter, I have to disagree with his prediction for two reasons.
Yeah.
One, you keep forgetting that Tampa's going to have to face New Orleans 3 times. I'm predicting that right now. We're going to see that team 3 times. Let's say
bring him on.
That Tampa Bay is the Super Bowl for the NFC. How in the hell are you going to stop this Baltimore Ravens offense? Last year, I wrote an article called You're Not Paying Attention. If you don't believe me, Peter and Ray Kennedy have a copy of it. Let me just say this. That offense got better. J.K. Dobbins is a younger, faster version of Mark Ingram. Lichtensteiner is already being picked up off of fantasy football boards that you probably never even heard of before. Duvernay, big, strong, wide receiver out of Texas. He was a former Longhorn to go across from Hollywood, who's going to be in his second year. What do you know about second-year wide receivers? That's when they break out. Scary Terry McLaurin, A.J. Brown, Hollywood, and DK Metcalf. I'm trying to tell you that offense is going to be scary. So I have no idea how you came up with 21-20.
Well, I think he's saying defensive. Both teams are going to play good defense in that Super Bowl, and that's certainly a possibility with both teams coming in as offensive juggernauts, and you would assume that the Ravens are going to be very good with their running game, and of course Lamar Jackson and Hollywood on the outside. I had to do it. And then you have Tom Brady with Godwin and Evans and Gronk and Howard and Brait, oh my, in that running game, and also some defensive playmakers for the Bucs. So, it comes in as an offensive game, and it doesn't always turn out that way. So I'm not going to hate on that prediction. Anything else, Gabe?
Yes. Alex, you said the offense was good. Why did they get stopped by the Titans during the divisional championship? Not divisional championship, the divisional round.
That's a good point.
That's easy. Tennessee did to them what Baltimore usually does to other people. They ran the ball down the throat, and they led in time of possession. And they were chirping. You got to think this is a first-year quarterback because he played his rookie year, but he didn't have the playbook. And you notice that he ran more his rookie year than threw more. Well, he was a true MVP his second year because he threw for 3,127 yards and 36 touchdowns. He ran for 1,209 yards. Last time I checked, that's about 4,300 yards worth of total offense with the combination of 44 touchdowns. So what do? You take away the running game. Mark Ingram was hurt. That's a viable piece in the running game. Then you put Lamar in bad situations where it's 50-50 balls. Logan Ryan was on a rookie wide receiver. Come on, man. That's just bad situations. And with Henry eating up the clock, taking away time of possession, you're already chirping. You're in a rookie's head. You got a shutdown corner on a rookie wide receiver, and every time it's a turnover, they're eating up the clock. That's how Tennessee beat Baltimore.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I tell you right now, I think there's going to be more teams that are going to try to force Lamar Jackson to throw the ball. And of course, the Ravens, they want to run. They predominantly want to run, but I think this could be also a breakout year for Lamar Jackson with, more opportunities to pass the ball. He was MVP last year. He passed the ball a lot, but he's still going to have that opportunity to get better this year. He was not that good versus the Titans. You're exactly right. Gabe, anything else?
Well, Alex, that's exactly why I called it a stupid but bold prediction. It could happen, it could not. Plus, well, it's out of the box.
Well, it's okay to be out of the box here on the Sports Web. Thanks a lot, Gabe, for calling. All right.
Oh, one more thing.
Yes.
I keep telling you guys this in the chat. Call him. He's so much better to talk to on the phone. Just make sure you do it the landline.
All right, Gabe. Thanks a lot, man. 17 years old out of Oklahoma. I love that kid. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. It's the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Join the 65,000 following we have here on Facebook. Of course, on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter live tonight. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Fantasy and Flavors own Mr. Alex Fleming. Let's go back out to the webheads here. Let's see. We talked about that. Good night, guys. Great show again. Thank you, Mike. I don't hate Matt Gay. I hate all kickers equally. Johnny Dean. Hey, Alex, you predicted facing the Saints 3 times already. Chilantro Sanders, DK Metcalf, the best sophomore next year. Good stuff. DK taking the Hawks deep into the playoffs. Good evening. And best virtual edits video. Yes, sir, Gabe. Final thoughts.
I just wanted to say, if you go back and look at the tape, Mike Vrabel was switching up the defense from a 4-2-5 with the extra nickel coverage to a 4-3, rubbing off of Mark Andrews so that way he didn't have a clean route, taking off the timing for Lamar Jackson and applying pressure. Applying pressure on Lamar Jackson makes him make bad decisions, and that's why he threw a couple of picks in that game. What did they do? Give Ronald Stanley, who probably has a running backs contract, since we're talking about running backs, to cover Lamar Jackson, because the more that Lamar is so fresh and so clean, the more effective he is in the pocket. Got him more weapons as well. They're going to be very dynamic. The only team I see keeping up with Baltimore this year is Kansas City. I believe they're on a collision course.
Alex, should I draft Deontay Johnson?
Yes. 8th or 9th round. There's too much talent this year in fantasy. He is a viable number 1, and he's not getting the respect he deserves. I think once Big Ben figures out that Chase Claypool is his red zone threat, Juju is Deontay Johnson was putting in work with Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph. Deontay Johnson is a sleeper, and I would definitely draft him. Don't reach. But if you can get him in the 8th or 9th round, steal.
Michael Scott says 42-41 Bucs over the Ravens. You like that prediction?
I like that prediction much more because styles make fights. This is going to be Frazier versus Ali. You got one team that wants to throw it deep.
Oh, I think. Go ahead, Alex.
Baltimore has the amount of corners to cover the wide receivers for Tampa Bay, but that's where Brate and Gronk are going to come in because they don't have linebackers who can cover tight ends. Let's flip it. Tampa Bay is number 1 against the rush, but they didn't have to play a team like Baltimore. Baltimore is going to give Tampa Bay's front headaches in trying to stop that run game, and that run game is going to lead to play action. Plus, you got to think Lamar Jackson. Now, I love Tampa Bay's front, but one thing they didn't have a lot of was sacks. Now imagine having to tackle Lamar Jackson. I look forward to the matchup. We're not psychics, but if it is Baltimore and Tampa Bay, y'all got to make it out to Fergs and Tampa if we're not in the stadium because it's going to be ruckus.
Absolutely ruckus here on the Sports Web with Alex Fleming of Fantasy and Flavors. Go ahead and promote yourself, my friend.
Alex Fleming, ALXFLMNG. No vowels. You can find me on Twitter. Florida Sun Review, we're celebrating 90 years. Otis, living black newspaper in Central Florida. Much great. The W, 40 is the new 20. It's never going to be a better time than now. Oh, and you can catch me tomorrow morning on The Stew, Sports Talk Unfiltered. I'm working with something with the dude later on in the future, and I'm not talking about Turf Talk, Saturday, 10 a.m. Wish me luck. I'm going to be a little bit nervous. This is going to be the first time I'm going to be solo. And guys, I'm going to do whatever I can to get the news out to you. I'm going to be working on another piece. I'm thinking I'm going to write a new piece on the Saints for the Know Your Enemy, but that's later on in the summer.
All right, good stuff. Alex Fleming of Fantasy and Flavors, thanks a lot for your time on the evolution of Sports Talk Television, all right?
Thank you for having me.
All right, there you go. So, a great show, as always, almost 3 hours. Thanks to the legend himself, Mr. Leo Haggerty, former Coach Scout and now media member, Night Sports Productions, It's Sports Mag, Ozzie the Sports Junkie. We had Joshua Cole Allen, one of our newest writers, here with a great interview with a Texan cornerback. And then we also had Alex Fleming of Fantasy and Flavors. On Friday, we will have Catherine Smith of Spectrum Sports and other guests, and of course your phone calls here coming back on Friday at 9 o'clock live on Bucs Report. Join the 65,000 following we have here on Facebook. Of course, being live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Do 3 things for me late on this Wednesday night. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake. See you on Friday night. You're now in the Sports Web, a sports talk show for the hardcore fan. Bring your passion, bring your excitement, just don't bring any nonsense.
At Life's a Beach Realty, we're all about life on the beach. Stunning Panama City Beach and one of the most beautiful properties on the Gulf Coast. Shores of Panama. Radiant, elegant, and spectacular. Steps away from white sugar sand. Every room overlooks the turquoise of the Gulf of Mexico. Come in for your tour today. Life's Beach Realty is your gateway to Shores of Panama, the shores, and a whole lot more.
Come to Sam Ash for hundreds of exclusive holiday deals on music and sound gear from the most iconic brands. Save big on professional and starter guitars, drums, digital pianos, horns, violins, DJ, and electronic production equipment. Supercharge your home studio with deals on podcasting, streaming, and AV equipment like speakers, microphones, headphones, and acoustic treatment. Plus, with 36 months no-interest financing on thousands of items, you can get the gear of your dreams right now. From our incredible selection and service to our lowest price guarantee for over 95 years, real musicians know you only go to Sam Ash.
Tom Brady, welcome to Tampa. Go Bucs!
Realizing my potential has been what my career has been all about. Things that I've dreamed about have actually come true.
And the Patriots have won Super Bowl 36. Unbelievable.
Things have happened in my life as I kind of hoped they would happen. It's been, just a complete evolution. You know, how I just kept kind of fighting and clawing to continue to power forward. You just keep putting one foot in front of the other, and you keep trying to make progress. So when I look at over 20 years, I look how far I've come. But there's not one step that I took where I realized, look how far I've come. But those series of steps that I put together, I go, wow, that's quite a journey.
My dad had a heart attack at 56 years old. He passed away at 63, and his main problem was high cholesterol. That was the main problem. And I've thought about that. I'd try anything to lower my cholesterol, to stop the chances of having a heart attack.
When I retired, I really had to be conscious about what I put into my body. Interestingly, I was also told I should probably take a statin. And I've always resisted medication like that because it feels unnatural to me. And so when I heard about this product that can naturally lower my cholesterol, lower my risk of heart disease and other types of conditions that come from having high cholesterol, I jumped on it. Has a lot of fiber in this, so it keeps you regular. It makes you feel good. And actually, interesting, it tastes good. You know, sometimes you see these things and you wonder what it's going to taste like. This one actually tastes really good. In fact, my kids even like have.
Here's a sobering reminder. Heart disease is the #1 cause of death for men and women. No wonder staying heart healthy is so very important these days. And we're learning that a few healthy choices can help prevent heart disease. Enter the inventor of Gatorade, Dr. J. Robert Cade. No secret what Cade and Gatorade did for thirst and performance. And Dr. Cade's Cholesterade is so much more than a thirst quencher. Cholesterade is a refreshing, high-fiber natural drink that could dramatically lower cholesterol and reduce the risk of heart disease. In fact, Cholesterade has twice the fiber of any other product on the market today. Independent studies show that 2 daily servings of Cholesterade can stunningly lower bad cholesterol by up to 20%. Dr. Cade knew firsthand the troubles of high cholesterol and adverse side effects of cholesterol-lowering prescription medications, also known as statins. Dr. Cade knew that a daily increase in fiber could lower the levels of cholesterol, so Dr. Cade invented Cholesterade as much for himself is anybody. Cholesterate is a powder that is mixed with water or juice. Cholesterate is all natural, no preservatives, gluten-free, and probiotic with natural flavors. Studies have shown lower cholesterol numbers without the use of prescription medication. Cholesterate helps all people looking to add fiber to their diet. Cholesterate, combined with a healthy diet and exercise, can help you get your cholesterol under control. Entertainer Rod Adams personally knows the benefits of cholesterate.
Hey, my name is Ron Adams. You may know me as an entertainer from maybe one of my shows, like my Elvis show. But I'm also a 55-year-old guy that needs to stay in shape. I realized that my cholesterol was getting way out of hand. I went to the doctor and he said, you need to do something. But there wasn't anything to do other than maybe get on a statin, which I already knew was dangerous. And then I found out about cholesterol. Started taking it 3 times a day. 8 weeks later, my cholesterol dropped dramatically from over 300 to under 200. The good cholesterol went from 18 to 36. Cholesterol is what's keeping me healthy.
Independent studies have shown that cholesterate users have seen their bad cholesterol drop by more than 21%. Triglycerides drop by some 50%. And good cholesterol improve by nearly 13%. Cholesterate supports digestive health. It has 3 great tasting flavors and has become the future in the fight for lowering bad cholesterol. You can find Cholesterate by ordering at www.cholesterate.com. You can find it on Amazon and at major retailers nationwide.